Hello, everyone, and welcome to FMK Anime. I am your host, Mep. Welcome. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Limus and Makan. Say hello, you two.
Hi. Just
Hello there.
okay.
Sorry.
Uncomfortable silence. This is gonna be a great episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit you with the back sass of giving you the silent treatment.
Well, not well. I will say where you can find me first. Then you can find me in your mother's bedroom, or on Twitter at soul_king777, where
But
you
what are
can
we
see.
doing here? But what are we doing here, me?
We are doing our FMK, where each week we watch a list of anime, and at the end of each episode we can cut one anime. Last week we cut Peach Boy Riverside because it has been making a lot of bad choices in its adaptation, like skipping the first chapter.
I still think it's a shame.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the third episode, but I don't know. All that stuff about the adaptation and stuff came afterwards, though, so, like, I still think it should have lived.
Yeah, and, well, let's just say where they can find us. You can find me at soul_king777 on Twitter, but if you're a minor, do not follow me. I will steal your kneecaps and build a kneecap monster.
And you can't find me, but a good place to try would be at that_Viking on Twitter. Otherwise, I really don't do anything publicly on the internet. So, well, you can find me here. Otherwise, right on the stream or on the YouTube videos.
And you can find me in a lot of places on the internet. You can find them all neatly categorized at limis.card.co.
Nice. Alrighty. And let's just start into it with our first episode. Aquatope of White Sand, episode 2. Fuka stays with Kukuru and begins work at the aquarium, but messes up when feeding the penguins. Loan sharks offer Kukuru the money to save the aquarium from closing, but when she refuses, Fuka chases her away. After a welcoming party, Fuka opens up to Kukuru about her past. Just the entire way to sum up this episode for me is just my heart. Fuka, this poor bean.
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, but why she get yelled at, though? Animals were dicks.
Yeah, no, if anything, that was entirely on Kukuru's part. Like, yeah, you have clearly not worked with animals, and I'm gonna fucking send you in to feed penguins immediately, who snap at your fingers for food.
And I'm gonna yell at you afterwards, and what else did you expect?
What's your fucking plan? Did you expect that to go better?
Yeah, I think that's also part of Kukuru's character flaw. She doesn't think things through. Like, she is definitely not thought through how she's going to save this aquarium. She's just like, I'll bring in more people. But that's not a plan, though, Kukuru. You gotta have a plan.
Yeah, like, I'd say you were right, Meat, but that is also, the more acceptable part of her flaw. The other one is not seeing the issues she has caused herself and blaming it all on Fuka. Instead of looking at herself and like, no, it's kind of my fault for sending you in there to feed the fucking penguins. Instead of being more angry at her and simply screaming at her about it. And that's more of a unacceptable flaw for me, is the fact that you are just pushing your shit onto other people.
And I don't know, it felt just kind of mean-spirited, and like we were supposed to be siding with Fuka, when it's like, I mean, she did what she was supposed to, and like, got overwhelmed. I don't know what to think here. Like, I don't know, it just didn't sit, nothing about this episode sat right with me. Like, on top of the whole, like, the fucking, it just feels like it's gonna do a bunch of tropes and shit that I don't really care for, this series. On top of also maybe being mean-spirited. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes me feel fucking bad. Just not for her, just the feeling of like you are at the new job, you get put on a task that is way over your fucking expertise level, and then you get shit for not being able to do that.
Yeah, I was just like,
Just kind of annoys me. But otherwise, for the rest of the episode, the chat she had with the tourism like guiding lady, that was very cute. I enjoyed the talk she had with Kruger when they kind of made up a bit later about what kind of happened with her idol career more. Because, I mean, like we all know from watching anime, at least being somewhat, you know. I mean, we've all heard about the idol industry. Meanwhile, I myself have not bothered with it in the slightest, but it is a cutthroat industry where people are siphoned in and out swiftly to keep things fresh.
I mean, it's not just like idols and stuff too. Like, if you've heard about like what happens to Japanese actors and shit, like just like fame in Japan sounds like awful. It just sounds awful.
I'll be honest, work in Japan sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And
no matter what it is.
I really liked when, I think it was the tourism agent that was talking to Fuka about this, but when Fuka was having it like talked into her about like you weren't looking for any specific place. You were like, you would have went anywhere, and the aquarium was just your escape. And I like that talk because it's like, yeah, no, it is, and that kind of plays into Kukuru's frustrations where Kukuru just cares a lot about the animals in her dream. Fuka is just here for the sake of just not being anywhere else. And I really like that talk because I think it's going to lead into Fuka and ended up loving the aquarium for what it is instead of just using it as an escape. So I feel like that's where a lot of Kukuru's frustrations came from. And I'm not saying it's right. She was definitely in the wrong in that scene. I think you were supposed to side with Fuka because she was made to feel awful about that, and knowing everything about her past, because we know about her past and how she's always felt like a failure. Kukuru doesn't, and I feel like at the end when Fuka confided in Kukuru her past, I thought that was a really sweet scene, because if Kukuru knew what Fuka had gone through, I don't think she would have been nearly as harsh as she was in that scene. I feel like that's kind of the point there, is Fuka doesn't know Kukuru worth a damn, and neither does Kukuru know Fuka. And both of them do have character flaws, and I'm excited to see them work through them.
Right. The thing is, I don't think it would have changed anything.
Yeah.
Like, still, this is I don't know, you're treating her like this is her 50th day on the job when it's her first. So, like, I don't think it would have changed shit.
Okay, I have another opinion on this. I think it would have changed stuff, but you still shouldn't fucking belittle and demean people for not being able to do something they've never done before. Like, if you want them to learn a skill and become better at it, you need to encourage them doing so and to learn it instead of demanding perfection.
Yeah, like I think where we're getting at is like, yes, that this is supposed to be this character's character. Obviously, she's grown her whole life around these animals and stuff, so it comes naturally to her, and it doesn't like, you know, what comes naturally to her might seem simple. Sorry, let me rephrase this. What seems simple to her is probably difficult for other people, and that's something that she's going to be learned. But it doesn't help the fact that this whole episode just sort of felt like, I just kind of feel like shit through this whole one episode. Like, I don't know. I found no enjoyment in this episode.
Yeah, well,
I liked the scene where they accept her and they have that welcoming party. And...
yeah, no. Well, they learn to accept each other, and I like Kukuru otherwise, but the fact that she, you know, treated a person that was going to work with her the way she did, kind of gives me an underlying feeling that she's kind of an asshole to strangers.
Yeah, and it's it's just all these things compounding the stress, the fact that she sees it as a simple job, her being a teenager too. Like these are teenagers who can be very they don't have the tempered patience that an adult would. That's just something that's hard to avoid. Like the grandfather probably has a lot more patience than Kukuru, and Kukuru is already at the end of her line because of everything going on around her. And I would definitely be on your side if Fuka was fired for spraying those two. But when like the whole scene happened, she's like, "But they weren't customers, and you made me feel better." I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah!" Like I really like that scene.
I mean, that scene's not even a problem for me. That scene is, yeah, that makes complete sense. And for everything that happened there, because, spraying guests down is abusing your clientele, which is not good for any company, and you'd be immediately fired. But they were there to harass and try and force a deal onto a, underage woman. Though that's not what we're talking about. It's my entire problem with her treatment of Fuka is the fucking penguin thing. That is the issue here. Otherwise, she's been treating her fine.
Yeah, and I think that is a flaw, and it was definitely compounded by the stress. And I think largely now that they're coming to understand each other, there either won't be moments like that anymore, or at the very least there will be more moments of understanding during those, and she'll be more like, "Listen, I know this is hard for you," and like she'll try to teach her. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, I absolutely think that that's absolutely what it's doing. It's just, I felt like it was presented in a way that just felt like, you should be on Fuka's side. And I'm like, but no. And maybe that's just because of the other girls, I'm just gonna lay back and take it, an attitude towards it. And I don't know.
I get the feeling that we're supposed to be on, Fuka's side, definitely, instead of Kukur, but at the same time, it was kind of like, we were supposed to feel bad for Fuka because she couldn't live up to Kukuru's expectations, like any of those expectations were reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope that she becomes more gentle with teaching her, but if she doesn't, I'm also going to have the lingering thought in the back of my head that she's kind of just a dickhead towards strangers, which is kind of a bad in a, entertainment profession she's within. Or if she's going to keep abusing her about that, keep being mean about things she wouldn't be able to do as someone who's never worked in a fucking aquarium, that's also going to put a bad taste in my mouth about her character.
I mean, we got those scenes at the end where they were just being really sweet, like when she sprayed down the guests and Kukuru was like a bit petty towards those two people, and she's like, "You made me feel better, so I'll forgive it." And then like the whole welcoming party was just really sweet with those two gay boys in the back.
Oh, they're super gay, aren't they?
Oh, that one dude is so incredibly gay.
Yeah, just that he can't handle women, and then he's this fucking like some. It's great, just how fucking big homo is this guy. I'm like, oh, I see, that's why.
Also, this is the only. Okay, I admit I was kind of hyper focusing on the whole penguin situation because, to be honest, that's literally the only thing that stood out to me about this episode. It's like that and the fact that they were drinking Coca-Cola in the fucking restaurant or whatever. I'm going to call out every off-name brand that we see, by the way.
I love that. That just passes over my head, but I love hearing about it. What stood out about in this episode was the outrageous treatment from the penguin scene, like we've been over, though the welcoming party was very nice, and my favorite character so far is the kind of blonde, tired guy who just works in the fucking aquarium.
I fucking feel that guy. Yeah. A deep personal bond.
Yeah, just a fucking deadpan voice. I can't keep working this much. You're gonna kill me here. It's like, what the fuck are you on? But also the moment that Kukuru and Fuka had on the beach when Fuka told her about her entire reason for being here, her kind of being bullied out of the idol scene as soon as she took even a speck of a break by letting up a chance to one of her friends. and being ousted out of the entire scene because of it, and just the entire fact that her dream might have been crushed, but she's still willing to help others with their dream is, I wouldn't say a healthy way of dealing with it, but it's certainly healthier than several other ways you could deal with your dream being broken.
I also I did get a chuckle when she answered the phone. Her mom was like, "Where the fuck have you been?"
Which is understandable.
I know that at some point there's gonna be an episode where she fucking explodes at her mom, and it's gonna be satisfying.
Either that, or her mom and their family says, like, let's go visit an aquarium. This one's nearby. And they fucking show up. So, I mean, it's either that or the other, which, I mean, I'd kind of enjoy both of them.
I think it's going to be both. She's going to come in and, like, tell her off, and then she's going to be like, no, I'm going to choose violence here. I don't care, I'm at my job.
Release the penguins!
Come, my minions, I have let you feast upon the flesh of my own, so you would get a taste for my family.
I just really enjoy the laid-back nature of this show, and just how this is how I enjoy my slice of life. It's laid back, but it does have stakes. It has enjoyable characters. I just enjoy watching it, and just the melancholy of Fuka is just, I identify with her as someone that gave up on my dream of voice acting just because of how oversaturated the industry is. It's hard facing that sometimes, and just seeing her melancholy, feeling like a failure. I feel that, like, being in the bathtub going like, I'm such a failure. Just like, oof, I've been there, girl. I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever had a dream broken, but that's simply because of the nature of me never making any dreams as a kid, and then I'm looking on to everyone who's chasing their dreams, and then I feel like a failure for never having dreamt at all. And that's something everyone struggles with, because life is by merit pointless, but human minds strive to find a meaning in our state of being. And that's not very easy when our basic necessities are always taken care of in the society we live in. And then we are forced to look to more philosophical reasons for why we're here.
Why the hell are we going to get so deep this season? What is with these shows that are just going to pull open the I had a dream once conversations?
I mean, it shows about emotions and wishes and regrets, and that starts a lot of these conversations.
I, Giorno Giovanna, have a dream.
And I'm just sitting here like, okay, I guess that's neat, cool. I'm not that interested, though. Like, I mean, in the show, I should say.
I mean, that conversation of, like, searching for dreams and your goals is a general thing, not only about the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the show sparks those kind of thoughts when they're talking about them.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like, I wasn't interested about the shows. The thoughts, yes, interesting.
Either way. Meep, do you have anything you want to take up about the show? I mentioned my, at least more well-standing out moments for me.
Honestly, just seeing Fuka just get all upset and start spraying the loan sharks, just seeing her open up, just Fuka as a character I adore, just because I relate a lot more to her than I do Kukuru, so of course I'm gonna enjoy her more, but I enjoy seeing her, like, growth, kind of. It's very small right now, but I'm enjoying seeing her growth and her being accepted, because at least from what we've seen of the idol industry, she wasn't accepted very, very well, and back at home, she feels like she's a slave. So just seeing that party at the end and everyone just being so nice to her and her apologizing for people being nicer, it's just like, oh, I enjoyed this episode.
Poor Bean's gotten beaten into the fact that she has to apologize about being nice to people being nice to her. Ugh, I'm sorry, I can't speak today. I don't know why.
Hey, she's Canadian.
Oof.
I mean, that's the unfortunate case of a lot of people who haven't really had any good friends, and once they finally get people who seem to fucking care about them, they don't really know how to deal with that. And it's sad, but hopefully they can move past it at some point.
Cough, cough.
That's a little bit of a nugget of insight into how human minds work from my perspective. Hello. But do we have anything else we want to talk about this episode?
Yeah.
Alright. What's your talking point then?
So we going to cards?
I asked if we had anything more to talk about and you said yay!
What? I'm gonna be a mess this episode. I am sorry.
I guess we don't have anything else to talk about.
Yeah, we move to cards.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
I think that the show is going to be good, but I'm looking at our list and I'm looking at the other shows that we have, and I feel like there's overlap with this show. This show is overlapping with one of our other shows in terms of how I see it in my mind. Like, we have another slice of life show that's about dream following and stuff that personally I think has a better premise and a better setting that makes me more interested. And it leaves it to a point where we have this other show that just feels like it's being overshadowed by the other. And that's where Aquatope is right now for me. Out of all of our shows, it is the one that I don't want to watch. I'm sorry, I'm fucking up my phrasing absolutely. I feel like I'm already watching the show. And that show is Remake Our Life. No, you know what? Someone else do their card first before me. I can't do this for some reason.
Yeah, sure. I'll riff off what you were starting to say there and give my opinion of it. While I might compare this to that show and as well, and similarly be able to draw my conclusion of which one I think is better or not. But that doesn't change the fact that they are covering similar subjects. But that's the thing about people when it comes to following dreams and what the philosophy of life means. Everyone's going to have a different answer. It might be similar to others' answer, but it's always going to be different. And while these two shows seem to be handling their ideas of what to be doing with your dreams differently, I don't think it's going to go to the same conclusions. I think they're both going to have different things to say. And as far as this show is going, I am interested in what it has to say so far. So I'm going to fuck it.
Knowing how things have been going and knowing it's going to be 24 episodes, yes, that's a bit meta, but I'm expecting, and this is just an expectation for me, I'm expecting around episode 12 it's going to be building up their friendship, and from there it's going to delve into a romance, because this is a romance, and I am just excited to see this relationship form between these two girls going into friendship and then the romance angle, and just seeing them start to understand more about each other now, that gives me hope for how the future of the show is going to go, because I really liked the scene where they're on the beach, just this beautiful scene where they look to each other without any words and just smile, and a first little bit of friendship forms. I'm going to fuck the show.
And back to what I was saying. What I was trying to say, but failing horribly. Yeah, I'm just in a period point with the show where I'm like, I want to give it another chance. I want to give it another chance to really engage me. But I feel like there's too much stuff that I'm already watching, and one of these shows that we're already watching is giving me the same flavor that this show's getting. And I kind of don't want to watch a similar type of show twice. So I don't think this makes any sense, and I don't know how else to phrase where I'm coming from this, but I'm going to kill this show. I'm just not interested. I just don't care about these two, really. Yeah.
Very well. That is 2 fucks and a kill for Aquatope of White Sand, episode 2.
I can't describe why I don't like it. I just don't like it, okay?
I mean, you described it somewhat that you were, as much as you feel like another show gives you the same feeling but better, and therefore you don't want to watch this one. I could understand, and I mean, it's up to you for your reasoning, why you kill a show or not. Seeing as the show is going to be a romance, and watching lesbian relations is not something that does anything for me, that might be what kills the show for me. But I'll see what that is in the future or not.
Well, let us move on to the case study of Vanitas, episode 2. Noe and Vanitas are summoned by the Duke and strike a deal with him. If they can prove the book of Vanitas heals vampires, they will not execute Amelia. After finding a corrupted vampire, they are attacked by the Hellfire Witch and must find a way to escape. Fucking raising the power scaling up to 11 here.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah!
It's episode 2. Let's just drop the most powerful vampire in existence. Second most powerful.
She wasn't the most powerful vampire. She's the vampire that killed all of the human deserters who joined the vampires.
She's a big fucking player in the world so far.
Yeah, she's a large player, but the second most powerful vampire, I don't think that was it, right?
No, I don't think so.
Am I mistaken?
I don't think that was ever implied.
With the way that it felt like they were treating her, it seemed like she was a world-ending, or not world-ending threat, but at the very least, one of the most powerful people on the world right now.
I don't think most powerful, but I think a fucking dangerous person to be taking on one-on-one.
I mean, she's lethal in her power set, and she's confirmed to kill people without remorse. So she's definitely a dangerous person. Though I don't think she is the peak of vampires, I think she is kind of high mid-tier of power level.
Yeah.
That's just the general feeling I get from it. This episode has some fucking fun moments for me, though. Like, it's in one of the screenshots I took, just one of the fucking quotes from Vanitas is just, "You're a country bumpkin squared," and I'm like, oh god, that's a fucking great insult.
Yes.
Vanitas is great.
I love how he's, like, suave, but also just a fucking idiot.
Yes! So far, he is best boy, and I don't think anything can shake that.
These two are just they're such fucking idiots together, and I love it. They both give me the vibe that they would say no homo before they get down and dirty with each other.
Yeah, because that makes it not gay, and then we get to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently.
Okay, so there is something that I do have to say that is negative towards the show. So vampires can just go out in sunlight, huh? No problem? Okay. Why throw away one of the biggest weaknesses of a vampire? I think that's one of the big things that makes vampires interesting. That's something you have to change your whole life around when you become it. And it, puts a little bit of a, stopgap between the ultimate power of being immortal. And I think just throwing that away just kind of devalues the fact that they're vampires. And I don't like that.
I mean, I mentioned this in episode 1 from the opening itself, that it looked like they were going out in the sunlight and that would be fine. And while I don't have any personally strong feelings on that, and as for the original, like, classic vampire, that changes a lot. But we already know that these vampires are very different. Like, they don't have the consistent high urge to drink blood. It's apparently a very easy thing to suppress.
Yeah, and that's one thing where I'm like iffy about this show is that like so far like being a vampire seems to be all upsides with the exception of the fact that people don't like you. And I don't like that. I don't like I feel like there should be another more of a, outweighing. There should be its own benefits and its own downsides besides just being human plus.
Here's the thing as well. From what the show's been setting up, at least from what I've seen, you are not turned into a vampire, you are only born as a vampire.
Yes.
So it's less of a affliction and a creature that is a corrupted human to fear. It's a different race, and well, we all know from fucking real life how race can do a lot of shit for fucking people's mindset of who we are.
Yeah.
Also,
and that's the difference between this and like my only problem with the show is that they're called vampires. You are using this mythology for a purpose, even though the fact that they follow it, they don't even follow it really. Besides the fact that they drink blood, like that's it. And
they do. They're following the noblesse vampire, which is the Japanese. It's the Japanese interpretation of vampires. The noblesse, the immortal nobles who work to serve humans.
Well, why aren't they called noblesses then? Why are they called vampires?
Because noblesse is just a different type of vampire, like Nosferatu.
Exactly, and they're not. Exactly, and these aren't vampires in the more traditional form. So,
right? Yes.
Not their.
Okay, but here's the thing. It's noblesse is a classification of vampire, like Nosferatu is a classification of vampire.
And I only know about the actual story of the noblesse and the Japanese folktale of them because I watched the anime Noblesse. So, like, because what the noblesse are is, in Japanese folklore, they were immortal beings who lived in gothic castles and worked to serve mortal beings, and the mortals feared them for their immense power. And what the noblesse essentially they were vampires with only upsides, and that's what these are. And
but that's not a vampire. That's a different mythological creature entirely. It's the fucking ogre thing again.
It's a different cultural interpretation of a vampire. And just like how different cultures have interpretations of fae, of demons, of devils. Like, different cultures have different interpretations of these entities. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah, but you also don't say that
a devil changes through everything, and it's another thing. Like, sure, it's like the ogre thing, but like we went over in that episode as well, an ogre is more of a translation thing that means several different things in different cultures, and an oni is technically an ogre by translation.
But what I'm trying to get at is, yes, that is true, but also you don't look at Lucifer and Set and say they're basically the same thing, so might as well just call any references of Set into Lucifer. Like, that's what I get from this.
Well, I mean, my brain don't know who Set is, but
he's basically, to summarize in the most butchered way possible, he's basically the big bad guy of the Egyptian mythos.
All right, but that's different. That's a evil god, not a devil. Let's compare it like this instead. Would you say that Lucifer and Asmodeus from D&D Devil Lore would make about the same sense to compare as the same person? Because I would.
I mean, I wouldn't. I think there's some interesting differences between the two, but hey.
Sure, but essentially they have the same occupation and do the same thing. It's just different names with different abilities.
Yeah, but also there's a lot more. There's a lot more differences from there. They're the same. They have similar bases, but that doesn't mean that they're the same.
Right, that's what I mean. Vampires have similar bases, but they aren't the same.
And like, I'm not saying you're wrong for not enjoying these type of vampires. Like, that's completely. It's not doing the type of vampires that you enjoy, and that's fine. I'm just like I understand why they're calling them vampires, because noblesse and vampires are are just two different cultural interpretations of it.
Exactly, and it's a cultural interpretation thing of it. It feels like an unnecessary change from something that is its own unique interpretation of this culture thing, and making it out to be like, yeah, it's just exactly the same as our Western interpretation. Don't worry about it, except it's completely different. Yeah. That's what I don't like about it. Well, I like this interpretation. I think this is interesting, but the fact that you said vampires, that these are vampires, brings so many connotations with it that... Well, yeah, I'm gonna think about that, and I'm gonna be comparing that. And if it said noblesse or something like that, then yeah, I would have probably been more open to this.
People also call noblesse vampires, though. That's the thing. Noblesse are called vampires in some scenarios. It's just that's their.
I have a thing I want to say. Like, what else would you call them if not vampires? If for some reason they'd like, oh, well, let's make a fancy name, call them like, oh, sun drinkers or something, I would just be sitting here like, just call them fucking vampires if that's what they are.
But they already have a name, noblesse. Why not use that?
But like Meep said, noblesse are referred to as vampires because noblesse is just a type of vampire. And at the same time, a lot of people don't know the deepest of the vampire lore, and everyone has their interpretation of different creatures. And sure, it might not be the same one, but if you kept it limited to simply being Dracula and whatever everything is about Dracula, you're not gonna innovate much and limit people in what they can do.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that these are different creatures.
Right, yes, but... okay.
They're different mythologies and creatures entirely, and I think they should be given their proper name instead of randomly just deciding that we're going to rip the name from the Western cultures and throw it on them. Because they're basically saying that they're basically the same thing.
But noblesse are often called vampires. It's just noblesse is their historical title, and...
If anything, the full way of referring to them would be noblesse vampires.
It's just...
Like, I know that you are interested in the depths of mythology about vampires, but to someone like me who is not very deep into it, a vampire is any creature that drinks blood pretty much to survive. It's that simple to me.
I don't know.
It also... We know they're able to suppress their urge to drink blood, but we don't know if they have to. Like, I'm assuming they still have to. It's just it might be something easy to suppress if you're feeling a bit peckish.
Yeah, maybe they need to. Maybe they don't even need to drink blood. Maybe it's just that feeling of wanting to.
Well, okay, so I just need to say one last piece. I like the idea of different interpretations of the vampire lore. Absolutely. I think that's cool and interesting every time they do. But when a creature is so detached from what it is, from what the general consensus is, I think it should be made into something new and interesting.
Well, okay, Ilamis, I do want to do a counterpoint because I don't know.
Just use its original names. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know much about like Vampire the Masquerade, but there are several different like vampire classes in Vampire the Masquerade, right? Like the Maluvian, the Nosferatu, and all that.
I'm not going off of like. I'm going off of. Never mind. No, I'm just gonna drop this because I don't even know how to.
But I'm saying like instead of having to invent a new word to refer to them, wouldn't there be a simpler thing to simply have a word to refer to the more classical vampires by an additional thing like Nosferatu or whatever, instead of that, ask that vampire and then have the vampire be kind of a broader term word for, blood drinkers.
I definitely think that would be interesting. That would be an interesting addition to the lore or whatever, but I don't know. I'm just gonna... whatever. I don't know.
My last point, and we can move on from this after, is just Daywalker vampires are also classified as vampires, so... I
don't know.
Every fucking interpretation of vampire is different, but, this one is what we're having here, and let's just go from the lore we know from the show, and let's go from there.
This argument has taken up way too much time than I expected it would. Like, I just wanted to say, like, I like what's happening. I like where they're going. I think this is an interesting direction, but I do not like the fact that these have to be vampires.
Right. I do want to mention that Vanitas being a human surrounded by vampires who are as fast and powerful as they fucking are, the balls on this man to stand up against these 3 vampires in that fucking office.
It's because he's a fucking idiot, but he's not. But he also has intellect. He knows that because of the mystery of the book, he is not expendable to them. Like he is very in vampire politics. He is very politically savvy, and that's what I like about him.
I love that he's speaking his mind whenever and whatever. Like, as soon as like, yeah, no, this book is gonna be destroyed or like whatever and stuff. It's just like, yeah, no, you're trying to use it, but you don't know fucking how, you dumb shit. It's just like the massive disrespect he has for people that are just trying to lie to him is, mwah, I love it.
Oh, I also love Noe going, wait, I don't like you. Just that fucking scene is.
I see. I hate you. He's like, oh.
Wait, are we going to the 3rd episode?
No, that was in the 2nd episode when they woke up in the jail. And he's like,
oh, right.
He's like, well, if you're looking for the book, why shouldn't you come with me? And like, you make a lot of sense. But I don't like you, so that's why I don't want to listen to you.
I will say, my issue with the show, I think they play into the chibi way too much. The chibi is fucking fine.
I thought it was fine, too.
It's not as egregious as other shows.
I don't know, I feel like when it goes into the chibi, I feel like it not undercuts, but just kind of throws me off a little bit. It's like, like they've done it a couple of times in tense scenes. Where I'm like, no, don't do that. It's nowhere near as egregious as the Comedy of Tokyo Revengers throwing me off. Don't get me wrong. It's just chibi is my least favorite part of the show, but the fact that that's my least favorite part of the show speaks a lot to the show's quality.
Yeah, but whenever it's vampires kind of dealing with each other and things like that, Vanitas is usually the only one who becomes chibi, and that's to emphasize the sheer shock and surprise and fear going through his head, which I think it does perfectly.
What is this small, sassy, lost, fucking...
Who's the sassy lost child?
Who is this sassy lost mortal that thinks that he can stand up to us?
Yeah. Wait, was the Carnival Parade episode 3 or episode 2?
Episode 3.
That's episode 3.
But if seeing as we're all kind of biting at the bit to go to episode 3, should we give our cards for episode 2?
Hell yeah! Like I spoke. Like I honestly, a lot happens in episode 2, but it's a bit hard to talk about what happens in it.
That's the case. That is the case sometimes, yeah.
I realized how little actually happened in episode 2. It felt like it happened in episode 2, like of note compared to the 2 that we watched, because I only have 2 screenshots that I chose for episode 2, and one of them's not even really.
I mean, some episodes just don't have a lot of good screenshots to take, but episode 2 as well. There was a lot of talking and exposition. Mind you, good fucking exposition in my mind. That in the way it was, presented to us in a argument between Vanitas and this vampire residing over Paris, and just them having to deal with this is because it was essentially them getting their stuff back from being in prison, getting their assignment, going to that assignment, and that's kind of where the episode ends. Because in the end of the episode, it is when they stunned the kind of werewolf style vampire and got attacked by God, I forgot their names, but the girl with the big red arm, and they ran off and hid inside a clock tower or whatever the hell they were at some sort of factory with a lot of equipment.
Girl with the big red arm, more like girl with the fat fucking tit.
One
of them is more problem, I guess.
I love her weapon. I don't know why. It's kind of stupid, big and unwieldy, but I like the idea of this big claw gauntlet.
It's cool.
Oh, yeah. I like how Noe just takes the fire face first, and you just see him in the fucking clock tower later, like, fucking hurt.
Ow! Yeah, but, that was episode 2, and my opinion of it is I thought it was fantastic. I love the more lore we got on the creatures and the setting around here in this episode. I love the action scenes. I love the jokes. It was fucking greatly done. I'm gonna fuck the show.
Yeah, like I have in my notes here, I'm gonna fuck this show too. And while I would have liked it if these vampires were more traditional, like the ones can't go out in sunlight, I think that would create a lot of good and interesting scenery and scenarios. But I also like the Noblesse interpretation. I hope this does that interpretation better than Noblesse did. Because, dear lord, was the Noblesse anime not great. But yeah, I enjoyed what I saw. I liked the character designs in this. The girl with the big red arm, I won't dance around the bush. She's fucking hot. She's pretty to look at, and Mr. Dante vampire guy who just calls Vanitas a quack. I love him. His design's great too. Like I like the show. I'm gonna fuck it.
Was said. What the hell am I on? Like was already stated. Yeah, I have some problems with this being an interpretation of vampire lore when I think it should be Noblesse. Whatever. Not gonna go into it anymore. I have these problems, but I think, especially knowing now that this is off of a different interpretation of vampires that has its own name and mythology related to it, I think I can look past it. I was going to look past it anyways and just look at these, like, not vampires, but a different creature with the name of vampires. Because the show's fucking good. The show's really good. Like, at the end of this episode, I hated that I have to watch this weekly. I want to binge it so bad. And, like, it's going to have to do a lot to drop me, basically. I see it's only 12 episodes. I hope it gets more. I'm going to fuck this show.
Oh yeah, with how long this manga is, it's definitely, at the very least, going to get a season 2, I think.
Oh, yeah. At least it's given me, like, I kind of want to check out the mangaka's other series that I saw people talking about. I don't remember what it was called. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's a trifecta, I think.
Yeah, trifecta for the case study of Vanitas, episode 2. Let's move on to the case study of Vanitas, episode 3. Vanitas and Noe beat Shion when Noe takes the boy hostage, and Vanitas tongue fucks her. Noe, through Amelia's memories, sees Charlatan, the being corrupting the true names of vampires, and Noe's childhood friend brings him and Vanitas to Altus Paris. Vanitas got a little rapey this episode.
Yeah, no, let's talk about how he fucking Frenched the fuck out of that girl.
That was sexual assault, definitely.
I think we know why Noe has to kill him.
I don't think so,
okay,
but I have my theories for what he did. I want to hear your guys' first.
So I have a thing to say about this.
I wouldn't know anything, by the way. I'm just joking.
Yeah, I figured as much.
I mean, yeah, that was definitely sexual assault, but I mean, she was trying to kill him also, so they're both kind of at fault here.
I mean, lethal assault with sexual assault, I mean, it's kind of equally bad.
This is both kind of terrible. I mean, there's gonna be a weirdly sexual, violent rivalry between these two that I'm excited to see through.
Like, what I hope doesn't happen, because we saw the kid get really upset and jealous, I hope there's nothing romantic between the two of those two, because that is a literal child.
Yeah, no, that'd be weird. No, I think...
Yeah.
The show is built up some more. I have enough respect for it to say, no, that's not a thing. Because it's probably just a thing of that they are more like a family relation to each other, and... Well, if you see someone force French your fucking mom or something, that's gonna be fucking weird!
Yeah, it's gonna be weird when you see,
true.
like, your sister getting French kissed by some random-ass dude on the street.
A random ass dude that is in your fucking society, the guy who corrupts your true nature and makes you into a fucking monster, and did it to your goddamn brother.
Also, by the way, Vanitas is already confirmed for a second season.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
Here's my theory of why Vanitas did what he did, though. I think it's a simple act of confusion onto the enemy. Because acting strangely and wildly and bringing confusion in two separate ways of having the child witness it without of earshot, and him severely confusing this woman in what his motives are, it's definitely going to make them hesitate in whatever their action is going to be towards them in the future.
So, my theory, I think it's also that, but I think Vanitas was also into it, because there felt like at some moments there was genuine passion, where he's like, "You're interesting me," and then he just starts to French her, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like, I don't think he's in love, but I do think his intrigue into her is genuine.
No, I would agree that there's definitely at least something there on his part, otherwise he'd find some other way of doing this, but he's like, fuck it, this is going to be effective, and I don't mind. I think it's simply an act of calculation on his part that this is what's going to fuck with their heads the most. And by doing it this way, there's not going to be any resentment of threats or anything. It's simply that they ran away by sheer confusion. It is ending a fight without bloodshed or animosity. It is...
I mean, there's probably going to be animosity there.
I mean, sure, but it's not the same thing as in, like, let us be or I kill your fucking master, as in, they ran away because this fucking guy fucking Frenched me and confessed his love, and I kinda just don't want to be here. It's otherwise, like, apart from the fucking weirdness of it, it's quite genius to get someone off your back when they were after you so aggressively.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping when Vanitas came out, he's like, the blue vampire of the blue moon. He gave me some of his powers. Like, are we gonna get to see a fight? Next thing you know, the loop grew. Nom nom.
Yeah, no, it's
You're
just
looking like a snack.
Right.
Nom.
Yeah, I was sitting there like, alright, I'm down for him having some power, but he was just bullshitting until the fucking monster vampire woke up, and I'm like, alright, well done. And don't you think I didn't notice that fucking scar he has, Vanitas? That's a very prominent scar there that you subtly revealed with his removal of his glove. By the way, his fucking gloves? That was like, is he a fucking human? Those are some claws, my guy!
He's got some talons.
Yeah. All in all, like,
I feel all kinds of emotion whenever Vanitas is on screen.
He never fails to deliver on keeping me interested, that's for fucking sure.
He's gonna have to do a lot wrong to not win Best Boy from me.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, but I do want to say as well, they've established a very interesting villain with the charlatan, because the things that Noe experienced and through Amelia's blood, the charlatan is fucking terrifying. Like, the idea that it can just corrupt who you are and change you entirely, and just the fucking face of that dried out husk hanging on that lamppost, and just the violent bite it took of Amelia's head. It was such a good fucking scene.
I'm not gonna lie when I say that the whatever the creature is kind of gives me the same feeling as oh dear, I think Meep just died.
I'm sure he'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, hopefully he'll be back. Don't worry. But he gives me the same kind of feeling that I get from really bad creepypastas, not gonna lie. I don't like its design.
I wouldn't get that, and I don't think that's the full design. I think that's just the sheer descript abject of uncomfortable appearance that it instilled in her mind. I don't know, I enjoy the fact that it's not like an over-designed clown or anything, it's just a simple monster. And I don't think the actual charlatan is going to be just a simple monster, but that's just what it was in her mind. And design-wise or not, I think it's a great setup for an antagonist force.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm fine with this being our antagonist. Hey, Meep, you there? Seems we're having some problems on Meep's end, so just give us a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There it is.
Gay.
Discord
What?
is the big gay.
Ah, yes. And the show never ceases to amaze me. It was just how fucking strange it is when Noe's self-proclaimed fiance shows up and puts a fucking collar on him.
This lady also makes me feel a lot of emotions and things. I also really like her. Why is everyone in this show so fucking hot, man?
Well,
It's made by.
It's a well-drawn anime set in Paris. Yeah, no, everyone's gonna be fucking hot.
I'm gonna be in a constant state of fucking bisexual panic through this whole thing, aren't I?
Hey, you and Saki will have something in common.
But yeah, do we have anything else we want to input about this episode?
Hell yeah.
The fact that Vanitas has been to the vampire world and the fact that vampires are not native to this world is an interesting state.
Oh yeah, we kind of forgot about that.
I did not. I was just waiting to get there in a chronological order. The general look of the otherworldly Paris is cool. I don't know if that's only because of the red light of the moon and kind of the spider web in the sky, but I think it looks fucking sick. And this girl who showed up, who was hot as fuck, just fucking putting a collar on Noah and dragging him off just because she wants to separate him from Vanitas proves that she has some animosity for Vanitas, or just is jealous that Noah is away being gay with some guy.
Ignoring
from that,
your arranged marriage. Sorry.
No, go on, do your thing. I was just saying some closing off words in my statement.
I really liked what we got of Charlatan in the festival parade or whatever it was called.
Yeah, we mentioned that when your Discord fucked up. No, I'll mention it again for you to be in the conversation. I mentioned how great I thought the scene was well played, and it's a setup for a great villain that proves a very nebulous but real threat.
Finally, a season with a good villain, Jesus Christ.
Hopefully, they can still fuck it up.
I'm not entirely sold on it yet. Like I said before, I don't like its design, and I think it potentially could go wrong, but like I think it's gonna be fine. I hope it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. But apart from that, I think we're ready to hold up cards.
Yes.
So I'm gonna start us off then. Yeah, no, this show doesn't stop to amaze me. I think it's fantastic. Like, I don't know, the French scene was just like, oh, okay. But then I sat there and thought about it from how Vanitas has been acting. I'm like, he's a fucking idiot most of the time, but he's a shrewd motherfucker. That's a good plan. If you want to put your reputation and whatever people think about you on the line, which I don't think you would give half a shit about doing that in a second. So I just respect him for living up to his character even where other shows would shy away and not do so. I love it. I'm gonna fuck the show.
I get feelings from everyone on this list, as has been stated, so I mean, I'm gonna fuck this show just for the characters alone, but on top of the fact that I'm super invested in the story already, like, this may be an all-time favorite for me if it keeps up the pace that it's at right now. Like, it's got everything that I want. It's got fun as hell characters, a fairly intriguing plot with a lot of world building and stuff in it. And yeah, I've not been the best with words today, but I think that gets my point across. I'm fucking this show, and it's gonna take a lot for me to start killing this show.
I really like this show too. It's fantastic. Amelia is one of the two frontrunners for waifu for me so far. I really like Amelia's design, the old Victorian, like, you know, Victorian outfit she wears, like how her actual design. Just, I hope she gets a little bit more character to her than we've seen. But yeah, I absolutely also love Noe's childhood friend. She makes me feel things too, but it's just, I look at Amelia and I just go, I just love Amelia's design. Like, the hair, the...
Psycho, continue.
Like, the hair, her outfit, like the faces she made when fucking Noe was just nomming on her arm. It was just like, oh, I'm feeling things. Even Jean, like the vampire Vanitas Frenched, she makes me feel things too. Everyone in this show is hot.
I'm gonna have to... At some point, I'm gonna cave and I'm gonna have to start looking for some dojins or something. This show's too much.
I'm going to fuck this show like Vanitas tongue fucked the pink-haired vampire.
Very well. That's another trifecta, then.
Hell yeah, another trifecta.
Fuckta for the case study of Vanitas, episode 3. Let's move on to The Detective is Already Dead, episode 3. The idol Yui Nia asks the detective duo to keep a sapphire from being stolen. Nagisa and Siesta fight in a dream, and at the rehearsal of the live performance, Yui is attacked by a man, and Kimi deduces that Yui has been lying. For some reason.
This episode was fucking stupid.
It felt like nothing made sense. Everything was disconnected, and I was just bored.
I just want to bring up the point, like, oh yeah, she's lying, and I'm like, yeah, I could have told you she was lying after like the first 3 sentences she said. She's lying about something. She's hiding something. Of course,
what?
It's very fucking obvious about it.
It's very fucking obvious. Why would you let your entire fucking security staff go to your concert like that?
Yeah, it's just
it's a fucking joke.
My security staffs are my biggest fans, so they think it's more important to go to my fucking concert. But they're also your employees, and fucking fire them if that's the case.
That is awful writing. That is a joke that actively makes the story at hand so much worse. Because it makes no sense. If that's gonna happen, hire more guards, if that's the case. That aren't fans of yours, maybe.
But, Limus, she's lying. She's the one that's gonna steal the sapphire.
Yeah, she's clearly the one who's gonna steal the sapphire and just wants some detective to put up a fucking challenge to her or something.
And also, what the fuck happened at the end? What was the weird creeper guy in the mask doing to her? Did he just walk up, like, whack her boob or something with his hand and then leave?
I guess, or maybe it was... we don't fucking know! And I was like, did she have the fucking, like, sapphire on her and he joined it right there or something? I don't fucking know.
No one knows, because it wasn't presented well.
Yeah, and I was about to say, like, why the fuck did the sidekick, like, yeah, no, I'm the fucking greatest fan. I'm like, what? Huh? What purpose does this serve?
I mean, I get it, whatever. It's for the meme, and I kind of get where this character's coming now. Like, the whole point of him is supposed to be like a dry wit character. Like, anything can happen, and he just sort of respond in a very dry manner. And I'm fine with that. I kind of like that, but it's just not working right now. Because nothing's working about the show.
He's the straight man in this show's comedy, and they removed his status as the straight man by making him being stupid and fucking silly.
Yeah.
A straight man, it works because they are the normal person reacting to all the bullshit.
Honestly, I would have preferred if his entire character was him just being so adaptable. Like, kind of like how... Okay, this is going to be a weird comparison, but kind of like how in almost any scene in JJK, you'd see, like, Itadori just wearing the dumbest shit, and it just makes sense. I would prefer he was that type of character, because just seeing him at this Idol concert, wearing all this Idol shit, that would have worked for me if that was his character. Just every time he's just completely, like, he's into everything. That would have made him so much better, and that Idol joke actually worked. Of course he's in the Idol attire. It's just how he is. Next episode, when they're dealing with crocodiles, he's just wearing a crocodile hat. Sure, let's go with that.
Here's the thing, though. I like his character as it is right now, and I don't enjoy that they ruined it. If he would have dressed up like that and acted like that to maybe infiltrate the inner circle of the fucking, like, Idol fans in the actual, like, concert for whatever reason, that would make a lot more sense. He's been fucking doing detective work for 3 years. He has a good poker face, and he would just blend in and use that for whatever, and he can act the part. Because, as he clearly showed in the end, he's not that big of a fan. It was a fucking act! Why did he put on an act?
And why is he at the concert to begin with? Isn't this in the vault that's supposed to be super secure? Why do they need to see the fucking rehearsal?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the rehearsal was to show for the girl who has no idea what the fuck she's doing detective work. The fact that she reveals something in one of her songs, because that was the entire thing, is like, here's the whole reason why we came here. When she starts singing the song, this like Sapphire, whatever it was. Which I'm like, all right, so that's the entire reason we're here. But why the fuck did you dress up and not bring her to the rehearsal?
I'm calling her right now. There's a sapphire in her eye.
I don't fucking know.
The true gems in her eye. I mean,
she pulls up the eye patch. It's a Sharingan, but a sapphire.
Yeah. It was just so fucking disjointed. Nothing makes sense. I enjoyed when they went to meet her and, like, he was walking around and she was just being this overly fucking overly confident to a nauseating degree, and he's like, wow, you really fucking enjoy the sound of your own voice, huh? Like, that's what I enjoy it should be. He should just be the straight man who reacts in a very real way to other people's bullshit, and it could have fucking helped the show be good, but he just forgoes that.
I think it says something that, like, most of what I spent thinking about this episode was about who were the two. Yeah, I spent most of my brain power during this episode thinking about, I wonder who those two Hololive girls were at the beginning that were giving the news call, because I know I recognize them.
Oh, I did like that part. The news call was fun.
Except, yeah, and I realized it was Fubuki. Fubuki and another one. And I'm like, I watched Fubuki.
Oh,
that is not
yeah,
Fubuki. That is not Fubuki. She is way too high energy to be Fubuki.
I love Fubuki. She's great. Man, idols suck. Just replace them with VTubers.
At least you get to have a life when you're a VTuber.
Yeah, this episode was bad. Is there anything else we even have to say about it?
No, I've said my things about why it's fucking bad. I mean, just the general idea that the girl who has Siesta's heart in her just picked up the detective work as well, and, like, yeah, you'll be my sidekick to the guy, and him just not refusing. Like, how was that not insulting to the memory of the time you've spent with her, that just, this girl's just gonna come up and take up after her? It's just fucking weird.
Because we got clickbaited super hard. They literally click-bladed us into watching this crappy show.
I mean, it didn't even clickbait us. This was just a fucking show we rolled, and it's just bad.
It's like after a party TPK, and there's only one member who survived it.
What the fuck happened in your last game?
Nothing.
I've been in D&D games where during the course of time I ended up being the last fucking character left from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's a weird feeling, but I would not equate this to whatever the fuck this is.
Nah, you gotta make an excuse for the other party members to still be important. Anyways. Yeah, this episode was just bad. Like, I only enjoyed the news call. I was kind of bored for the rest of it. I think it got a chuckle or two out of me, but it wasn't worth it.
I admit, I kind of did laugh a little bit when the dude first came up and he's like, yeah, I'm just like instantly a fan of her music now. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, like, if Nagisa was the straight man and he was just this adaptable fucking doofus, I would love that. Just seeing him every episode, he just has some new shit going on related to the case. Like, oh, we need to find out who the were-crocodile is. He's just wearing Crocodile Dundee gear. Like, I fucking love that.
Nah, he's wearing Crocs.
Yes! I would love that!
This is the type of character that would 100% wear Crocs in an everyday situation.
Yeah, no,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like it speaks to the show's quality that we're getting more excitement talking about theoretical crocodile scenarios than actually watching the show.
Well, that's been the entire show. The entire show has been us watching a show with the expectations of the title having the word detective in it. And as we started watching it, it swiftly had nothing to do with any detective work, and we're just speculating what the show would be if it was actually the show it said it would be.
Yeah, we're spending all of our time thinking about what could have been instead of what we get. And that speaks volumes to what's happening with the show.
Yeah, and I mean, usually when something good something that could have been good was ruined fast, you usually spend a lot of time thinking about what it could have been.
Legitimately, I wanted this to be Scooby-Doo, but anime. I'm not even joking. I was hoping for that energy.
That would have been better than what we got.
It would.
That would actually have been pretty fucking fun.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll say my vote first. I'm gonna take this dog out back. Sorry, Scooby 4. You got rabies. Scooby 5 will take up your mantle. I'm killing the show. It's just boring.
You'll need to return the drip, but you can keep the Crocs, as was promised, as you take this knife in your chest as well. Yeah, this show is really just not doing anything, and it's acting as if it's subtle with the fact that the girl is lying, but it is not subtle in the fucking slightest.
I have been holding the knife up to this show's throat since the beginning of this season, and I'm finally ready to try to use this bitch. I'm also killing it for our first try kill. Triple kill? How do we call it? Triple kill?
Try kill.
Oh.
Our first try kill. Our first try kill of the season. You killed it on its first episode. I killed it on second, and Makan, you finally caved.
It's not about finally caving, it's because it's just that, alright, this show is doing something, let's see if it goes anywhere, but it still fucking went nowhere. It wasn't as egregiously bad as some of the other things that I ended up killing, but, you know, the first 2 episodes was digestible.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Well, that's a try kill, putting... The detective is already dead on the chopping block.
And you could hear the lawnmower. You could hear the lawnmower coming to mulch up its corpse.
Yeah, the lawnmower is running over this burlap sack with its remains we left in someone's backyard, which we covered with a bit of grass.
Let's move on to Remake Our Life, Episode 2. Kyoya's class is tasked with a 3-minute short film, but run into difficulties. After learning more about his partners, he decides on a project similar to an idea one of his partners had. At the end of the episode, after joining a club, they find out they bought the wrong camera. Can I just say, I really like the idea that Kyoya just came up with this idea, and then his friend's like, hey, that's my idea. And he's like, what? Oh, right. I fucking remembered this from a short book I read. Huh.
Yeah,
This is-
no, like, I love that as a fact, like, he's working with the people he spent his entire adult life looking up to. And he was influenced and inspired by them, and now their own work is inspiring him to come up with what they're going to do with these people. So in a sense, he's inspiring himself from a past he was never in.
Dude, I fucking loved this episode. I thought this episode was great. And I thought that
Oh, yeah.
that reveal brought it all together for me. I was lukewarm about this show. I was like thinking whether or not the time travel bit was actually going to be like, you know, come into factor with this episode, with this series, I should say. Or if it was just going to be dropped and it was just going to be a wish fulfillment type thing. But as soon as it was like, this was my idea. Oh, wait, right. I think I just stole this dude's short story idea from the future. Just, yes, this is interesting. This is cool. I'm into it.
And when I forgot his name was asking, fucking, why can't I find his name here now? Nimia? Kyoya was his name. When I don't remember the other guy's name yet, but he was just asking Kyoya, like, what's going on here? And he just didn't know anything about what to answer because he can't just explain this from the future, but he also know that technically he stole his idea, but not.
And
Yeah,
the
it
scary
was
thing
just-
is that, like, that's how inspiration works. Deadass, I had this effect happen to me. Well, not in the future past thing, but, like, where I, like, came up with a really great idea. And what I didn't realize is that so much of it was based off of a idea that I found from a game that I played a while back. And just recently I was, like, revisiting that game, and I realized, oh shit, these stories ideas I had are so similar. It worked its way into my subconscious, and I ended up accidentally stealing it.
Yeah, this isn't just like, hey, let's put stands in this video game. This is the equivalent of, okay, so these characters, they have these ghosts they can control, right? But any damage the ghosts take, they take. Wait a minute.
Yeah, and then you realize. And, I gotta say,
I mean-
fucking...
I mean, I have to say, the guy who made Persona was probably real happy until he fucking picked up the next episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and went, fuck!
Yeah.
Alright, let's see what Giorno does this week. Damn it!
But yeah, besides that, like, the actual production that they went through, I fucking felt this production in my bones, man. Like, that whole thing that the screenwriter goes through, where he's like, okay, I have to deal with the fact that I have to cut some of the pages from my script, is, like, so real. Like, hell, that happens so much when it comes to writing and stuff like that, to the point where there's even a phrase that has been repeated to try to remind people that you should just cut things if it's going too long. If you need to cut scenes that aren't important or that go too long. Hell.
Yeah, I mean, that's the entire thing, because when you're working as a team and you need to fit a product into a package, everyone is going to have so much to come with and so much that it's going to be way over long, but you do need to cut that down for pacing. Otherwise, the severe lack of pacing is going to ruin it, because that's how most things I thought I was going to enjoy was ruined, because the pacing was horrible.
Kill Your Darlings. It's something that was made by Stephen King. It doesn't matter how much you like a scene. It doesn't matter how much you identify with it, how good you think the writing is. If it breaks pacing, cut it. Kill it. It's not needed.
Yeah. And just the entire internal struggle of their group trying to solve how to fix that. And sure, Kyoya's quick choice of simply having the script rewritten is maybe not the first way to go about it, but the other guy's thoughts of how I'm going to go through it is just to change some of the camera angles to be like faster pans, or the voice actor or the actor talking faster was also going to ruin it. They needed to rewrite, re-script, and re-change it to fit within that time limit in a concise and well thought out manner, instead of just winging it and doing it faster.
Yeah.
Can I just say I really like the teacher too. That scene where she like just slams the thing on the table. Like, this is a script for a movie. It was actually really good, but audiences hated it. Wanna know why? Why? It ran on for 3 hours. Oh.
Yeah, no, the teacher is great because it's not just, oh, it's another girl for the guy to fawn over. No, she's an actual fucking teacher who helps people out and gives guidance and it tries to inspire them. And she's clearly given Kyoya counseling several times that has made him rethink and come up with better ideas what he could do. She's a great teacher. And that foremost of everything, which is good on you, show, for actually making a teacher and not just a fucking adult woman who every guy in the audience will go ooga booga at.
She doesn't exist there as a background character like so many others. And she's not just the fucking ara lady. She's not the MILF for people to fawn over. I mean, maybe she is a little bit, but I mean, she actually, does her job seemingly well too.
I mean, for a while there, I did think she was the red-haired girl's mom, but we actually got. We'll get to episode 3 eventually, but. And also, she's not the MILF for people to fawn over. Doesn't mean that I still can't fawn over.
Exactly. No, I mean, like,
no, she's fucking hot as shit. But she's a teacher and a well-structured character foremost, instead of just being eye candy in the background.
Exactly, and that makes her great.
Which fucking teacher in any other show can you say the same for?
You know what? That just makes her even more of a top-tier waifu,
Yeah, she's hitting the professor. She's hitting the professor kink in the back of my throat. I mean, what?
Meep wants to get paid by her, confirmed. Sorry.
I do have to mention the one part of this entire episode that I hated. The beginning of it.
Yes, I also agree that the beginning was slow.
It's not about the beginning being slow. It's just the worst trope in anime, in my opinion.
Oh, right.
When she's just, what the fuck are you doing? She realizes she's just in her fucking bra. She punches the main character and runs away embarrassed.
Right.
He had nothing to do with it. He was simply just a victim for her flashing. And I fucking despise it. It's the worst.
I purged that from my memory. I purged all the weird sexual stuff from my memory because I honestly think that was the... Yeah, like, that felt like it was filling for time, honestly.
I couldn't purge that from my memory after all the praise and the philosophizing sentences I wrote last time about it in my notes. I had to simply pause and slam my head against my desk for a few times to try and fucking get it out of my head and keep going with the episode. And at least the rest of the episode doesn't pull as egregiously as shit like this. They are heavily fucking shipping Kyoya and this girl, though, with what they're doing.
They're shipping Kyoya and everyone.
They fucking are.
Oh yeah, this is one.
They're shipping Kyoya and the fucking guy he lives with as well.
Harem betters, take your pick. Harem betters, take your pick. Place your bets. We're gonna figure out at the end of this. Who do you think he's gonna get with, boys? Who do you think he's gonna get with, boys?
I don't even think you say it's a harem. I just think it's just fucking teenagers kind of being, fucking horny and available.
My money's on blue hair girl. All on blue hair girl.
Oh, it's blue hair girl, obviously. Wouldn't be my choice, but it's obviously what's happening.
Dark Horse, my money's on the guy he lives with.
Meep's going for the gay. Meep's going for the Fujioshio ending.
I mean, I know it's not happening, but what I would enjoy the most is the redheaded girl he knew when he was an adult in the previous timeline.
You know what? That's actually valid. I could see that.
Yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, I want the Dark Horse pick. I want to be correct with the Dark Horse pick, but as far as that scene goes, yeah, it was pretty bad, but at least in episode 2, and from what from what I remember, episode 3 doesn't do anything nearly as egregious.
The fact that
it was a something they pulled in the first episode in a small little scene there, and then something they pulled in the beginning of this episode. And I don't think they've done it since. At least if they have, it's something that just fucking became white noise.
Dude,
but
like
it's been small moments of bullshit between everything great the show does.
I remember what my thought process was for this episode. It started off with that sexual stuff, and I was just like, oh, is this what this show's gonna be? I'm probably gonna knife it. And then it hit me with the fucking time travel butterfly effect stuff about how he stole the story, and it's like, that was expunged from my mind, and I was like, never mind, this is gonna be great. As long as it doesn't continue to do the sexual stuff, and it sticks to this cool-ass idea, and the cool-ass setting, and playing in that, I'm willing to forgive that. I'm willing to forgive these scenes.
I think the sexual stuff is probably just going to remain these small moments of levity. Like I do agree they are pretty bad compared to everything else the show does, but if the show keeps doing everything else it's fantastic at, I can forgive the occasional eye candy every now and then. And I thought the scene was funny when they were walking down the road and the one girl steps on the guy and he's like, as much as I don't want this feeling to end, I need you to save my life. And they bring him back to the club and they're like,
yeah. No, it's great just her stepping on him. Her face is filled with the most abject expression of disgust. And just looking down at him like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Besides that, I only have 2 complaints, but they're very minor. The size of the script that this dude presents to the rest of the class, the rest of his team, it's a fucking novelet.
Yeah, in no way is that a 3-minute script.
And industry standard is that 1 page of screenplay is supposed to be equal to a minute. Yeah, you really need to cut your shit, dude. That is way too big. You wrote a movie.
Yeah, no, they were asking him to cut because when they finally did the storyboarding, this was a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah, and besides that, also, like, I think the little bit at the end of, we got the wrong camera, kind of falls flat when you know that, like, what they have is obviously a DSLR, and all DSLR have standard a basic video function. Which kind of hurts it, but whatever, I can look past it, because it makes for a good moment in the next episode.
Yeah, and it's not that they... I know that Meep said in the opening that they bought it, they acquisitioned it from the school, and he simply checked the box above the box he was going to check.
Yeah. There's no way that these college students are expected to buy a DSLR on their own money. That's insane! That shit's like thousands of dollars. I'm 2 semesters in, and I haven't even cracked because it hurts me to look at the prices.
Oof. Also, even if it does have a standard video function, it's nowhere near going to be as good as a actual video camera.
But no, that's actually the thing. I've been recommended that that DSLRs work fine for the most part. It's not industry standard, but it should be fine and work fine enough. And
well,
either way, it is what it is.
Considering events in episode 3, I feel like they would have got docked points if they didn't use industry standard. But
I don't know because it's like this is an actual school where you can get industry standard equipment and all that. But like I think it would be a way too picky if you were to say, yeah, no, you used the wrong equipment to that extent. But whatever, this doesn't matter. That's not what the scene's supposed to be about.
I mean, that's kind of what happened, but are we ready for votes?
I am, or did you have another point to bring up, Loomis?
I did not. That was it.
Alright, then.
It's just some things from my own personal experience, and I'm like, that's not how that works. But then again, we also have plenty of shows that are like girls running around and fighting in skirts and like high heels and shit, and I know that's not supposed to be fucking feasible at all.
High heels, the most optimal combat equipment.
So if I can look past that, I can look past this.
Yeah, let me go first here with this. Apart from my gripes with the beginning of this, this show has me gripped from beginning to end, and it is great with everything they does, the internal turmoil and the resolution in the end when he notices he needs to actually talk with people instead of just demanding that the screen be rewritten, and which he didn't demand very harshly, but he basically didn't try to work with the other guys once in it and simply said to rewrite it, and realizing his wrong in it, and regrouping again, and the sheer passion and determination he was exuding through the entirety of it was awe-inspiring. It was fantastic, and I need more of it.
Yeah.
So I'm fucking the episode.
I'm also gonna fuck this episode. I know you mentioned earlier, like this and Aquatope are covering the same bases. I can't disagree, but at the same time, they're covering them in radically different ways and in different, like, this is a lot more like high, like, what's the opposite of laid back? Not high octane isn't right, because this isn't high octane, but this is a lot.
Yeah, it's not high energy.
Yeah, this is a lot more high energy, which that's what I get different out of these two shows. One of them is low energy and laid back, where I could just sit back and watch. This one, I just get physically like getting closer to the screen, super excited. Like, this show is fantastic. I really like it. It has a lot of characters I like. Even though the blonde is pretty tsundere, she's not an awful character. I liked what we got of her in this episode. Just seeing her talk about, like, yeah, I came here because I just had to get away from the countryside, and it's like, fuck. Like, I don't relate to that, but I can understand because I know people that have been like that. Like, the show's great. I'm gonna fuck it.
Yeah, and I think I share that sentiment when it comes to the tsundere. I actually don't really like her, but I think she's gonna get better. And besides that, like, I feel like I've gushed about this episode, and, like, I was a bit so-so when it came to the first episode of the series. I wasn't sure if it was going to be able to hold my attention too well. But this episode firmly sold me. I think this is going to be good. I'm going to fuck it.
Alrighty. Let's move on to Remake Our Life, Episode 3. Kyoya and company makes the film and are given third place. Kawasagawa is assigned to their group for the second semester, which is coming up, and Kyoya, along with Kogure, go to karaoke. Kyoya, along with Shino and Kogure, hang out with the Fine Art Club with Shino and Kyoya talking about their goals. Did anyone else catch, like, all the quirks of the people in the club, and just how, like, this guy likes to sing, this guy is very theatrical, this girl's a lesbian, that's her quirk. Okay.
Yep.
Or at the very least, bisexual.
I feel like you're a reverse Fujoshi.
No,
is there a name for that?
That is her
she was pretty fucking hot on those girls, and nothing else.
I mean, fair.
Like,
yeah.
Everyone else had a clear quirk involving their actual study. Then meanwhile, there's her. I like girls.
She does pottery and she likes girls. I mean, I guess she's good with her fingers then. Hey.
Hello.
Heyo.
It's just practice, and that's it.
I like big girls, pretty kitty girls. She just started singing that song.
No. This show with the actual movie. Let's talk about that. And the determination from Kyoya to actually make it good, accepting the invitation to this club just to get the support from the leader of it, which is in the photography club, photography class, I guess, not club, on tips of how to make this good, and the simply sheer fact of the control he took to try and make this work anyway is still just as awe-inspiring as it was in the second episode, but even more so as his energy ramps up. And the movie itself was, I would think, it was very fucking amazingly pretty, and in my opinion, and I think maybe the opinion of some of the people in the show, I think the movie would have been worse if they actually had a recording camera and not a still image camera.
Yeah, that I wouldn't call this a gripe. I completely understand where the teacher is coming from, but I think the fact that they worked beyond these issues and made something so phenomenal should have been more points for them. I didn't like, well, I understand why, but at the same time, like, man, you're gonna dock points for them just because they had that little mix up. I think that should give them more points that they're able to work.
She didn't dock them points because of the fact that it was a still image show. I mean, the one that won was apparently a silent movie. She docked points because the story was took some hits and the progression of it was lessened as they had to make changes to fit it within it. There was actual reasons within the story writing and production because of it. Apart from that she was complaining about.
Well, when her sister, which, because by the way, it's revealed the red-haired girl is the teacher's sister. When she's asking her, she's like, "Well, I docked the marks because it didn't feel intentional." That's where I was like, "Ah, oh, come on!"
No,
I understand.
I think you missed that because she was talking about she said it didn't feel intentional to me, and then she went into everything that seemed off about the thing to her, and that's why she docked points.
Mm-hmm. I think it would have been different if they would have. Yeah, I don't know.
Because if they decided to work around making a still image movie from the beginning, the story wouldn't kind of need to be adapted and lose some things in what they kind of figured would be the perfect thing for the 3-minute mark, and then they had to change things on the fly as a still image movie might be shorter or longer or depending on whatever, which would worsen it. It's just a fact of it, and it's just a confusing way she strung it together. But the complaint was more about what the thing became because they had to improvise and adapt, not so much more about the format.
Fair enough. Also, I just want to say I did have in my notes for episode 2 that I couldn't read because in episode 3 it's cleared up. I was like, in my episode 2 notes, I'm like, is red-haired girl the daughter of the teacher? They look really similar. And then episode 3, it's like, oh, they're sisters.
It's a valid guess considering they're related.
Yeah. Well, that's why I just didn't bring it up when we were talking about episode 2, is because, well, it's in episode 3 anyways, so bringing it up is just going to be a mute point considering I know the answer.
Yeah, I do enjoy how fucking Shiki the teacher are like, you're interested in him, right? And she's like, what? I didn't say that. No, I'm just interested in his talents. She's like, oh, did I say anything different than that? That's what I meant. And just the red-haired girl just blushing while her sister's just being a shit.
Yeah. I also loved seeing the production of this, which, by the way, does this school just have child actors on standby?
It's a fucking art college. Of course, they probably have a bunch of people that are just around.
Fair enough.
I'm sure you could go to someone. They went to someone and is like, yeah, actually, I have to watch my kid anyways. Here, take her.
Yeah, no, from what I've seen, this college is fucking huge because there are, from a rough estimates that I saw in the class when they had the viewing, there are about 100 people in the video production class alone, and there are several different classes here, like the music class, the fine arts, the photography, the acting, and pottery. Like there are so many different ones, and if they have anywhere the similar amount of students as the movie class has, or I don't know what the class they're in is called,
then visual arts.
The visual arts class, if any of them have any similar amounts of students, this is a massive fucking school, which means it has a lot of funding and a lot of support, and it's a prestigious one that puts out a lot of good talent.
There's probably going to be a lot of people around that are really bored and really be like, yeah, sure, I'll be in a movie, hell yeah.
They just went to the theater class and found one of the high school moms who's in their 5th year at the school. Hey, can I take your kid for a bit?
Sweet, don't have to deal with them. Go away.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a pretty rural town they live in, and I mean, not rural, but it is not a huge, big city town. And I mean, finding people or asking around and finding a family with, because the people they had looked similar, so I think they might have just gotten a family who agreed to it, a daughter, a mom, and a grandmother, to be the actors for it.
Probably.
Yeah. Also, we have gotten 2 jokes this season about a girl being bad at karaoke. It's a national record.
Yeah. About the karaoke as well, that's another point for the future, him being from the future coming into play, as he recommends her posting her stuff to a Japanese-only website, which is going to be created at the end of this year to help her out and kind of build up her confidence about singing and getting some feedback about it.
Oh yeah, I guess Nico Nico wouldn't exist. So he knows.
Does
Yeah,
YouTube
exactly.
exist? This is 2006. So.
2006 is the year YouTube gets created, so maybe.
Okay, so yeah, I guess so, because like the way he was dancing around, it's like you guys have shown Neko Neko before. Like, what the fuck? Why not just name drop? Oh, because it doesn't exist yet.
Yep. So he's using his knowledge of what will become to help people in setting up and preparing for when that thing gets released, to use that already. And I like that. That's a subtle use and a subtle nod to utilizing things people wouldn't know about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I this episode kind of brought me around to Tsunere Girl a bit. Like, episode 2, I was kind of iffy on her, but this episode, I was... Okay, she isn't just, oh, you're sussy baka slap. No, she's her own character with her own motives and goals. It's... Granted, she's now another love interest for the main character, but at the same time, that's not the only part of her character, so I can forgive it.
I would say it's a possibility that there might spring out a romantic relationship from that, but that's not the feeling I'm getting so far, because how she was treating him before was just like, oh, the first impression I got from you is that you fucked the first girl in this place you went to live in, so I could see why she has animosity towards him. But after the movie and the work he put in with the passion he showed and his hard work on the editing and creation of this movie that wasn't going to happen because of a mistake if he didn't work as hard as he did, she respects him because of that, and because of that she made an attempt to get to know him further, and they're building a friendship less than a relationship, a romantic relationship.
I don't know, maybe it's just my horny brain, but I felt like there was some tension a little bit between the two, and I'm like, not like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you kind of tension, but more like, this boy's cute, he's sweet, if it happens, it happens.
It's more like, I want to fuck this boy at some point in my life, instead of, oh, I want to fuck this boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that it's not affection she feels for him at this point, it's adoration. Adoration quite easily becomes affection when you're attracted to someone, which, how she's acting, I don't think she finds him unattractive, so her adoration might very well become affection. But as it is right now, I only see their relationship as a friendship.
Fair enough. I'm also just really into blondes, so maybe I just want to see her with her shirt off.
Well, you already did, and she punched him in the face for it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they're also in college, which means they're legal.
The way you say that sounds so wrong.
I mean, it's a valid fucking thing, because that last season we had to look for a fucking Waifu Hispano Awards where every fucking good character was underage.
Oh, that's a yikes.
Yeah, it was. Regardless, the scene with Shiraki as well at the end, when she talked about how she feels like she's never going to accomplish anything with her art, how she feels like she should give up on that dream and focus on something else, and how she hides her art, so of course she's not going to get any feedback on what other people think about it. And so his statement that he loves her art is going to mean a lot to her, and it clearly fucking did, and I found that very heartwarming.
She's such an artist, being so critical of her own art, not wanting people to see it, thinking it's bad. She's such an artist.
Oh yeah, and
she's such a creator. I have that fucking, like, I have that, no one needs to see my writing. What? No.
Yeah, anything that you are creatively making, when you're sitting there looking at it, as you know what you've brought with your hands and what's in your head, you're always gonna think this could be better. Or if you don't, well, congratulations for not having that flaw that I have, and I think a lot of people have. But that's why you need to put it out there, or at least share it with someone so they can give you their feedback of what they think it is, and it is and isn't. Because she hasn't showed it to anyone apparently, and her art is fantastic as we've seen, but she doesn't think it's good because she probably compares it to something that is, well, maybe by her standards and art style she enjoys more, but her art style is so fucking beautiful. And hearing someone honestly and heartfeltly claiming with the amount of passion that Kyoya did that they love your work is going to be a morale boost and something that gives you a reason to continue with what you're doing.
This episode was really good. Like, just everything in it. Like, the only stuff that I'm kind of iffy on in this show so far, other than the sexual moments, is I kind of hope the club doesn't get a whole lot of attention, or if they do, the characters within it are more characters instead of just we have a quirk. Because I don't know, I'm not too into the whole club part so far.
Yeah, the club either needs to have some more character developments and more details about the characters, which I doubt. I think the club is just going to be a place that the main characters we've established so far hang out sometimes. Apart from that, I do have the thing of Kyoya as well, because I love him as a character. I connect with him quite a lot in how he seemingly seems to feel is about the fact that he's surrounded by all these people he's looked up to for the entirety of his life, and now that he has had this bit of success that saved their work, they now respect and look up to him and come to him for advice and things like that. And I don't know if that's some sort of like imposter syndrome on my part, but I have the feeling of constantly that I don't have my fucking shit figured out, and I really haven't done anything in life, and I still have friends who ask me for my advice when I think that's probably a bad idea on their part. But the thing is that they value my advice as much as these people value Kyoya's advice, so I suppose I should do my best the way he's doing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Just I'm hard pressed to find much about this show I don't like, aside from a couple of minor things. Like there's nothing that strikes out at me as being okay. This really hurts the show. Like the closest thing there is the sexual moments are a bit but at the same time it provides me eye candy, I guess, and it's only for a small time at a small little bit at a time, so I can easily overlook it. It I don't know. It's words.
I get you, man, at this episode. Don't worry, we got a break after this, so yeah.
Alright, we have a break. Other than that...
Yeah, I'm ready to hold up cards unless you guys have anything else you want to bring up.
Yeah, speaking of breaks, cards.
I'm gonna fuck this show just like I want to dick down that teacher.
I'm gonna fuck this show like I want to dick down a camera or something.
I mean, yeah, I think there's no fucking question about my want to make sweet, sweet love to this show. So yeah, that's a fuck for me as well.
Alrighty.
I love the silence. I love the silence that followed after mine. You gave me the right response. Don't feed into those.
That is a trifecta for Remake Our Life, Episode 3. And now, we will be going to break, but we will be back with Girlfriend after the break.
Monkey Gang, rise up.
Yeah. I gotta go get food in me. I'll be back.
Okay, good.
Hello, and welcome back. We are now onto Girlfriend, Episode 2. Saki is concerned that Nagisa will try something slutty with Naoya, Well, Nagisa goes through Saki's search history to find out that she only searches lewd stuff. Naoya learns Nagisa skipped school to confess to him, so they have a study session, and the three of them hang out in secret at school. This show continues to be what it is, high-octane, over-the-top tomfoolery, and I fucking loved just the entire start where Fukisaki's just like, Nagisa?
I love the fucking English they used in the fucking first few minutes. We're just in the fucking bed and it's just like, are you a bitch? It's Nagisa, you're a bitch? Or you're a slut? But just the English is that, Nagisa is a bitch, you don't know?
Yeah.
You adorable little slut.
That's what's on screen.
Oh, it's great.
What a great screen cap.
I had to take it the moment I saw it, because it's just... Nagisa is so adorable, and then Saki, who thinks she's a horny bean, just goes, Nagisa, you cute little slut.
And what we didn't realize is that she was the slut the whole time.
I think they're both kind of, because Nagisa's not really much of a slut. I do want to say, I think that is why the show works so fucking well, because they don't shy away from any vulgarity, and they lean into that shit hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she's just this high-pitched, like, he's putting it in! And then, like, her voice fucking, it just goes even deeper. He's just like, it's not in.
Yep.
The voice acting is great. It's fucking fantastic.
My favorite part about it is that usually in anime there's that point where it's like, yeah, the character's screaming, but they're not actually screaming. No, they're full on yelling, and the world knows.
No, they're screeching, and like, there's something about the voice acting in the show that's so fucking good, and I think that's simply the fact that these people must have so much fucking fun in their recording booth.
Oh
absolutely.
Like even when Nagisa is going through Saki's phone, like I would usually hate that in any other thing, because it's like, that's a huge breach of privacy, but just because it doesn't treat it seriously, this show just treats everything like a giant joke. I didn't care. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Saki was even going through a fucking bisexual meltdown on Twitter. Or Quitter. Sorry, Quitter.
Quitter! I love Quitter.
Quitter. But that's the fucking one scene in anime I've seen in years that fucking a girl beating up a guy is completely fucking okay with me. Because if someone was just like, yeah, I'm gonna go through your phone to see what the fuck you look up in, and I'm like, I'm gonna kick you in the fucking teeth.
That deserves the punch. That very much deserves the punch.
Yeah, and because he took the fucking blame for it instead of her, and like clearly laid the fault on him, it makes so much fucking sense to me. And I don't care if I was being a racist zone. If someone did that to me, I'd kick their fucking ass. But I love that they also lean into the sheer stupidity of these people as she fell asleep and actually forgot it fucking happened.
Yeah, that was great. I just, like, even the fucking comic panel is dunking on her. It's like, she forgot. Then it just comes up again. She actually forgot.
Yeah, she forgot. Then she's like, no, you need to realize how fucking stupid this bitch is. She forgot!
She's that much of a dipshit.
I love this show so much, you guys. You don't understand.
I have a beef with the world, by the way. I'm calling out everyone who talks about anime and shit weekly. The main character doesn't suck. He's great. He's a great character. I am calling 1v1 for everyone who calls this dude an awful character.
He's a good-hearted, earnest himbo who just tries his best, and he is incapable of lying because it hurts his little heart.
Yeah, people are just upset that this show isn't what they want it to be. They want it to be some intellectual, something that it has to say on Polly.
No.
Like, they want it to be super serious, but no, that's not what this show is. It's just dumb fun.
That's not what they want. They want a traditional harem. They think that the fact that he's gonna get together with all of these girls and it's gonna go well is gonna be bad writing, but no.
Yeah, They want a traditional anime harem, but hey, let me tell you something. The future's now, old man. We're actually having good comedy in our harem bullshit.
We're having our main character be an actual likable human being.
He's not a bland and boring face for you to put yourself in when you lie in bed jerking off at night.
Yeah, I love him. Naoya. Like, I love Naoya and Saki, and Nagisa. They're all great. Nagisa locks herself in the bathroom so she can find out how to do long division.
And about the long division, when she sits down and starts fucking trying it the first time, the fucking dial-up noises.
Yes.
Staring at the paper.
It's great. I fucking love that fucking screenshot. It's just her going, because that's her in the Brain Cell Gang photo.
Fuck. Oh,
I love the weird, I love the weird smiles that they all give, where it's like, eh?
It's fucking great. I love it. Like,
this show nails emotion on face so good. The nervous fucking smiles they give all the time. It's so fucking good.
I love these three so much. I love this show.
I love when they're in school and now it's like, I can't hold it back any longer. I'm dating, and then fucking Saki and him start having a shonen battle that ends with her suplexing him.
And then dragging him out as the boxing ring bells ring.
Oh!
I don't understand how her beating the shit out of him is stopping. It's out now. He said it.
He essentially said it. He kept saying it while she slapped him across the mouth over and over.
My favorite shot of that is not the suplex. It's her continuously slapping him, going, "Ah!"
Ow! Oh god, that was loud.
Sorry, this show
gonna
gives me such an intense energy.
I'm gonna have to lower that one in post. Wow.
Yeah, yikes! Holy shit!
I'm gonna have to lower this entire segment in post because we're all super loud.
I'm sorry, it's just this fucking show activates something primal in my brain.
I like, apart from just fucking monkey brain laugh at shit, the show sets up the stupidest fucking problems with the stupidest fucking solutions, but it works because the first episode went, yeah, this is the dumbest fucking show you'll ever experience, and if you're here for that, then here you go.
Yeah,
all I have to say is, I only have 2 notes for each of these episodes. Well, I have 1 note for both episodes. And that is just the sentence, anime is trash and so am I.
Your entire note file is just gonna be that in a line.
Yeah. Oh my god, the show just remains what it is. It doesn't try to be anything different, and that's what works. It's not trying to be some old school harem that tries to be all serious. It's not trying to be some profound drank the blood of Jesus product that's like, oh, we have a lot to say about poly and what this means and what relationships mean. It's hey, you want to have some dumb fun, kid? Just watch this. Don't take any of it seriously. You'll have a good time.
Do you want to watch 3 dumbasses bumble their way through a polyamorous relationship?
Eventually to be 4, I think.
5 is my guess, considering that Saki's friend is apparently included in the opening as well.
Oh yeah. Once we get to episode 3, I have
don't
something
know.
to say too about Blonde Girl.
I don't know, though. I don't know if they're going to be involved in it or not because of how heavy, the triangle motif is with the opening.
Yeah,
so maybe it just stays. Maybe they just stay a triad. Who knows?
I mean, the blonde girl's been included in in the opening and ending a lot, so I don't think that's going to be the case. Though Saki's friend has not been so heavily included, so she might not be included, but it still finds her inclusion in the opening weird for me if she's not.
Yeah, I think Saki's friend is going to be I'm not sure what her case is, but I do think the blonde is going to get involved in it. Although Are we ready for cards for episode 2? Or
Alright, my theory for Saki's friend might not be that she gets involved. I think she might be looking to break this up because she's like, what the fuck is happening?
She will be our antagonist, trying to break up our... trying to get them to stop this. Just like, be more monogamous. No, fuck you. Let the chaos reign.
like I said, the season of good antagonists. Alright, there is also one thing I do want to mention. I loved Saki. Like, after she gets found out, she's just like, I want to put myself in your bed too. And he's like, you're so cute when you're embarrassed. She's like, yay! It's just like,
she's mind wrecked, and she's like, yeah, I didn't have any bad thoughts at all. My favorite fact is still just that whenever they go, after they actually go to sleep, she's just the most fucking sprawled out fucking mess of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Yes.
This show is great. I love it.
Anime is trash, and so am I.
We're the trash pile, and we're the trash kings.
Words of the trash.
Trash, 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 trash. How about these trash cards?
So is that a trifecta?
I mean,
so. Fuck it. We're the trash kings, and the trash kings have spoken. Good show.
Show good.
Yeah.
Ooga boonga. Triple fuck.
Triple trifecta. By the way, before we move on to episode 3, who's best girl for you? Mine's Saki.
I love them all. I can't choose.
My choice is a surprise tool that will help us later.
Oh.
I can't choose. I love them all.
Fair enough. Let us move on to episode 3 of Girlfriend. The Polly crew tries to find a place to eat together at lunch, while Saki realizes she can't do anything for Naoya, and fails when she tries. She leaves home when Naoya refuses to sleep with her, and only talks with him again after Nagisa makes her jealous. Again, this show continues to be what it is, and it's great. They're just trying to find somewhere to eat, and Nagisa can only take them to bathrooms.
Yeah, apparently.
Saki...
And then when they... Oh, sorry.
Like, I feel the most connection with these three in this episode when they're trying to find a place to eat. It's just like, this is just, you three are just need to be together.
I fucking love when Saki just shoves them out of the bathroom, and then the two girls they're walking, just stop, turn around, and start walking away.
We're not gonna get involved with this, bye.
You know what, just don't ask, don't tell, let's just move.
Just like, what do you think they were doing in there? I don't know. And then Saki's like, no, we weren't.
It's great. And I mean, I feel the struggle of just finding a quiet place to enjoy your fucking lunch. As much as I didn't really have the struggle of like needing to hide from people, I just like enjoying my lunch alone. So whenever I went to school, I was just like, alright, I'm gonna fucking explore this place and find like a place I can sit where no one fucking goes and eat my food.
Yeah.
Also, so Blonde Girl is also a streamer, I guess?
Oh no.
Oh,
like,
wait, was that it?
That looked like the girl from the opening.
It might be. Huh.
Like, cause, like, maybe it's just the fact that she's blonde with the same hairstyle and huge tits, but I was like, oh, the Blonde Girl is a streamer? Huh.
I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't even see the fucking hair color or haircut, because I was just like, alright, it's a normal streamer, and then, like, gotcha, alright, those are some huge fucking tits.
Yeah, like, I just love how Saki she forgot she was cooking, and it's just...
For 3 hours!
Yep.
And as someone who enjoys cooking, she made me angry, but in a way that I'm like, yeah, no, it makes sense, she's a fucking idiot.
She runs away from home to next door.
Next door.
And my notes, first note I made for the episode is just, of course they're fucking neighbors.
Yeah.
So like, I thought it was a big deal that she moved to his place, and it's just a fucking next door house.
Yeah,
just perfect. It's just perfect timing.
Oh my god, I loved every bit of it, because she's like, she comes home, or Nalia's like, what did you buy? Gummies! Wait! Wait a minute!
It's just like, I feel like the fact that they only said now, when it mattered for a good joke, that whoever she is, the red-haired lady, I don't remember her name, only moved like one door down. Like, the fact that they saved it to now, I think says a lot about the actual quality of the show.
It's great. It is a
bad show would have been
masterpiece.
like, I can't believe I moved out of home, but you only moved one door down and like wasted it on a shitty joke. But that's
instead they used it for a fantastic joke.
Instead they used it perfectly.
This show is a comedic masterpiece. I don't care what anyone else says. It's great.
A comedic masterpiece it's not, but it's fucking funny.
Okay, for me it's a comedic masterpiece. This does almost every joke perfect.
It's a comedic shitstorm.
And then Nalia's like, okay, I won't go to sleep until she talks with me again. And he just comes to the door every day. It's like, Saki, 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 I found this. Like, the gotcha pulls. He's like, not even 1 5-star. Saki just closes the door.
Yeah, she was interested and then it just went, oh, alright, fuck it then.
I took videos of cute cats and dogs. Wait, there's plenty of those on the internet.
Yes, but these were taken here in this town. It's better. No, apparently not.
He's just like so fucking tired and dead. Saki, 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 Saki. My private quitter. They're all sizes.
Yeah, good play, dumbass.
I don't even know what else to say about this.
It's
besides
great.
Just
I don't dare to much more I can talk about this. I enjoyed the scenes where he was just fucking trying to get her attention, but there's not much I can go into detail and talk about there or point out any very specific funny moment, but the entire episode was just fucking great fun. They're also, while also having some intrigue and drama of the tensions that would come with a polyamorous relationship.
Jumping from her window to his balcony like a monkey was fantastic.
Almost fucking falling down between the buildings, catching herself on the fucking edge.
I just loved how she jumped. I just wish I could have got a better screenshot of it, but she just jumps and fucking... Because, okay, to explain to the audience, what happens is the way that he gets Saki Saki to talk to him is Nagisa takes Nalia's hand and makes him grope her. So Saki Saki jumps back to his house to fucking get mad because she's all jealous, and then she's like, wait, no, I'm here again!
These three just have such a great dynamic. They all have their own characters that are very comedic and interesting. And yeah, I just love them. They all have their own niche that you can see them filling, that's going to fulfill the comedy and also their own relationships. Like the blue-haired girl overworking herself for the sake of this dude. The dude being an absolute dumbass. And just...
It's kind of like a daisy chain of reactions, because in the original relationship, she didn't need to do shit and didn't do shit for him because he was perfectly happy waiting on her hand and foot and doing whatever she wanted. And then Nagisa comes, who is there just to wait on hand and foot and do whatever the fuck Nagoya wants her to do. Or even taking it on herself to do what she thinks he would want her to do. And of course that's gonna make Saki feel self-conscious when she's, having to compete against someone who tries so hard.
So, my official prediction to what the blonde is going to bring to the table. I think the blonde is going to get into the relationship, not for Nalia, but for either Nagisa or Saki Saki. and she's going to be the instigation of all the lesbian, bisexual meltdowns within this relationship.
I guess we'll see. I don't fucking know.
I don't know where this is going. This can go anywhere for me.
Like, every time, and this might just be because this anime activates monkey brain for me, but every time I open up an episode and see Saki and Nagisa interacting, like, come on, just kiss already, just kiss. And it's, like I said, probably because the show activates monkey brain for me, but...
Meep watches this show, and in his brain, it's not a monkey just slapping symbols together, making noise. It's just his monkey form with a doll of Saki and Nagisa just smacking them together.
Basically, like, the entire time, whenever Saki's like, well, I like spending time with Nagisa too, I'm like, yeah, further, go farther, right in front of Dahlia, do it!
This is to go even further beyond!
This show activates primal feelings in me, I love it. I'm gonna fuck episode 3.
I'm gonna fuck episode 3.
It's unacceptable. I hate it. I'm gonna kill it. No, of course I'm fucking it.
Hell yeah. Trash gang. Trash gang. Trash gang.
Let's munch more on their trash.
Speaking of trash.
God knows I don't have anything to say about our next show.
Speaking of trash, The Duke of Death and His Maid, episode 3. Alice beats the Duke in a bet at pool, and they go to town together and profess their feelings in the clock tower. The Duke spends the night in Alice's shed to ask her to watch the meteor shower with him. She asks him to kiss her, but he can't go through with it. I still like this show, but I'm having difficulty finding things to say about it that I haven't already said, because it's establishing and building upon what I said about it last time. I like the relationship between the two. It's really sweet. The CG actually looks surprisingly good. And also, in the opening, it's been adding characters to the wheel that spins. The bird has always been there, but now the butler and the sister are there.
I have feelings about the opening. And those feelings are... It's literally the conceit of the show. Watch the opening and you understand, and you've pretty much watched the entire show at this point.
Yep. With some exceptions, you wouldn't have understood the quite in the relationship with him and the rest of his family, which is the only thing you'd miss out on, which is not a lot of what the show has been so far. What I do need to say about the show is praise it for one of the things, and then also take up my gripes with it. A notable thing is that it does the same kind of effect the Shadows House did. It kind of gives the world this kind of canvas texture and kind of a water painting look. But the problem is it only does it for the backgrounds, and the characters still look the same.
Oh yeah, what happened when they went to the town and like everyone else is 2D animated, but they're both still 3D. That was so weird. Yeah, it was. I mean, apparently you guys didn't notice it, but yeah, they totally are.
Bad.
But I mean, it's obviously not that bad if you guys didn't notice.
Like, I thought everyone was also 3D. Like, I was gonna make the point of, yeah, I just don't know why they did this 2D background when everyone's already CG. But like don't get me wrong, I love the 2D background. It's just like, why couldn't the show be 2D? Oh, also, I love Alice's outfit. I love the outfit she wore.
Yeah, like, I think the backgrounds are 3D, just that they put filters over it.
She has the dead mom braid in that image, and I love it.
As he guzzles her pee.
I pulled up the episode again. You're right, they are 2D. Why
yeah!
the fuck are they 2D? What's the entire show not in 2D?
Like,
what?
Why?
Like,
Yeah,
isn't like the whole point of having it be 3D is like, isn't that because it's supposed to, you know, cut costs? Wouldn't that make so much more costs?
I'm looking at this now. I guess I was just desensitized and stopped caring about the visuals. This actually looks good.
Yeah, surprisingly. Like,
what the fuck?
it does it in such a weird way. Like, the fact that you guys didn't notice it, like I said, props to it. Because that, like, I feel like if it was done badly, it would have stuck out and we would have all seen it.
Yeah, they kind of melded it well together, but they're still at the same time, why not just make it all in 2D then? Because it looks better as 2D.
Exactly. On the other hand, it's fucking baffling. Why would you do that?
Yeah, why not save the 3D for the characters that you meet in town that, you know, could have been... I guess it would have been more jarring to have, like, the first 2 episodes be 2D and then have 3D characters, but at the same time, why?
Why just do 3D in general? Like, it's pretty 3D. It's not bad. Like, it's actually pretty decent as far as CG goes, but at the same time, I would have rather it be 2D. And, like, because I just remember when I was watching X-Arm for the winter season, just going, why? Why is this Source filmmaker stuff with this shitty 2D animation? Why? And I didn't even notice it here.
Like, actually, that's one thing that I can definitely praise about this. Like, honestly, if it brings a more cheaper, affordable, and easier to use style that maybe makes it so that less animators are overworked, like, if more anime was CGI like this, I honestly wouldn't care. Like, I honestly think it looks good, and sadly, that's about the only good thing I can say about it.
Yeah, no, the CGI looks okay, all right. It looks good. Not great, I would say, but it looks good.
Yeah,
I
still
think it would look better in 2D, but at the same time, if this is a cheaper way that lets animators, you know, not work themselves to literal death, I would be okay with anime from the future being in this style. I would be totally okay with that.
Yeah.
But
Hell yeah.
I just don't like the canvas texture. That was the point I was on. In the background, when the characters are clearly not having the same kind of feel about them, and having characters in movement against a background of what seems to be a canvas painting feels like they're not actually there, like they're just standing in front of a painting.
Yeah.
Sorry, go me.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I agree, and it's weird because there's stuff about the show that's actually really pretty. Like the scene with the moon, I really enjoyed. I thought that was really pretty. Like just the visuals there.
I actually kind of like the backgrounds. I think, yeah, like exactly what you said. Like I think there's a lot of pretty shots in this show.
I'm not saying I don't like the backgrounds. I think the backgrounds are ruined because the same type of effect is not applied to the characters, kind of making it feel like the characters are no longer there and just kind of in a room with a painting. The backgrounds themselves look great. That's why I praised them, comparing them to Shadow's House, which did the same effect, to amazing extent.
Oh yeah, like and Shadow's House had 2D characters, so.
Yeah, but at the same time, if they had 2D characters without this filter moving around, it'd be fucked.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Regardless as well, generally I've made my opinion on the relationship between the Duke and the Maid. I just don't like it. It doesn't interest me much. The idea of it, that having someone you love so close but out of your grasp, is a good one. But I can't really get immersed in that feeling whenever I think about that Alice should have died years ago with how fucking close she gets to this jumpy piece of shit of a guy.
Yeah, if the Duke was more calm, it would be more believable. Like, if over these years he became more... Because that's something that's been bothering me. It's, how is he not more used to it at this point? He always seems surprised when she does it. He should be more calm and used to it. I don't know.
I can see why he still gets flustered. He loves this girl, and they've never gotten physical because they can't, which is what would give you kind of a more get you more used to it. And considering this girl has no fucking fear of death, he doesn't know when she's actually going to touch him and might die. So I think it's a fear that is in him that she's kind of made into a thing that turns him on, because it clearly fucking does.
By the way, all I have to say is, these two need to desperately learn about a little thing known as mutual masturbation.
Yeah, no, like, when he's like, oh, you're gonna make me do something dirty or something like that, I'm like, Well, the most she could do is mutual masturbation. I'm just surprised you aren't already doing that, if that's the case.
Wait a minute. I had a thought.
Is it her?
If he jizzed on her, would the jizz kill him? Kill her?
Yes. Also, damn you for not laughing at my joke.
What joke?
When he said I had a thought, I asked, is it her?
Haha! There's actually a fucking description I've heard about a type of fetish that is actually described as death thought, and that is kind of the fucking thing I'm giving her, which is a person that just wants to be choked to death and fucking derives pleasure of that thought. And she clearly has a fetish about death, and I think she wants to break the curse and have him fucking choke her to death.
To me, she reminds me of a character from Fire Force who just gets really turned on when she's in dangerous situations, and whenever she's in danger and people are putting her in danger, she gets really turned on. That's what Alice reminds me of, except less sadistic.
Right, that's kind of what I mean. It's the death thought thing. They kind of want to brush with death or derive pleasure from the act of dying. It's, I don't know, it kind of just. And whenever I had that thought, I'm like, okay, I thought that was just a joke I made with myself, but it swiftly proves that it's fucking correct. This is what's actually happening.
I'm gonna read the manga, and I'm gonna see if this works better in manga form, because the more we talk about it, the more I just feel frustrated with the show. Like, I still really enjoyed what I saw, but the more I think about it, more it's like, I bet this works better in manga form. I hate having a feeling of going like, oh, this is just completely inferior to manga. Because if you're going to adapt something, you need to, like, use your medium to better what it is. Because in anime, the way you do that is, well, you better it because there's movement, there's fluidness, there's less... Like, I can't words well right now, but a adaptation is supposed to at least add something. And I don't know if this adaptation will. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why would I just not read the manga? If the manga is just going to be better.
Yeah, it's that point where it's like, if it's not going to add anything in the medium it's being adapted to, why make it like that? And I absolutely feel like that. There's way too many scenes of them just sitting in a place and they talk to each other. And occasionally there's a pretty shot. I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah, and at least in those, you can take things at your own pace. That's one of the big things you lose with animes, because in manga, you can take it at your own pace.
Yeah.
You're a sadist if you do this, but if you want to take Black Clover at a slower pace, you could. You're ruining the experience for you, but you can.
Don't talk to me about the ruining of Black Clover's manga into anime.
Yeah.
Do we think that's cards?
Yeah,
I'm
I'll get
I'm ready for
started on
cards.
this. Yeah. I don't hate the show. I just constantly feel like it's wasting my time. Half the time I'm bored, and at least half of this episode I was mostly disgusted, thinking about what's kind of happening and kind of the mental torture Alice is putting this guy through. And just the general plot holes of how this girl is still alive. I just... The point where I realized how much I dislike the show is looking down on, constantly moving my mouse on the video player to see how much time was left in the episode.
Dude, I feel that.
That is such a fucking statement of how bad a show is, if you were just lusting for the end of it.
I thought they were going to end at the festival, and then I saw that it was only like 10 minutes in.
Yeah,
that hurt me.
I just paused it and went, oh no.
I'm weird, because I get that effect a lot with shows I hate. Like, for example, with Detective, I was doing that. But then for shows I love, I, like, dread the end. Like, for Jujutsu Kaisen, I would always put my mouse player, be like, okay, how long is left? Okay, thank God, there's still 10 minutes left. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, that's not weird. That's just you don't want the end to come of the thing you enjoy. And
Dude.
I tend to forget to tend to not think about it. And when the end comes, I go, no, fucker!
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the Vanitas episodes we watched, I was fucking heartbroken both times because I was like, I have to wait to watch more.
At the end of the girlfriend episodes, I was heartbroken. Which, if we can move back a bit, we never talked about the ending of girlfriend. I also love the ending.
The ending's also great. Yeah,
I believe we talked about the ending of girlfriend in a previous in last week.
I thought we talked about the opening of it last week.
We talked about both of them.
Oh my god. We are
sure
so...
At least you mentioned something about it.
We are so desperate to get away from talking about Duke of Death.
Well, give me your fucking votes then!
Well, I like the show, but I'm gonna kill it just because I feel like I'd get more out of the manga. I feel like this adaptation doesn't add anything.
Oh.
I'm probably still gonna watch the adaptation, but I'm also gonna read the manga and probably read ahead to see, like, if it works better in manga form.
You're putting me at a interesting... Wait, has Makan given his card?
Yes, I was the one who gave it first when I killed it.
Oh, dear. I'm put into an interesting place of power here. I could fuck this show if I really, really wanted Detective dead. I could fuck this and guarantee that it's killed. Or I could vote with my heart and kill this, and they both go up on the wheel, and it could be both.
Vote with your heart, because if it goes on the wheel, there's a chance that both die, and wheels are fun.
There's also a chance that none of them die.
Oh god! I'm gonna vote to kill because fuck it, chaos. And
Wheel
like,
chaos.
honestly, I'm bored by Duke of Death, and I am annoyed by Detective. I don't want, like, they're both the ones that I don't want. I don't want anymore. I don't want to watch them anymore.
I'm happy that you decided to kill it though, because I'd rather watch another episode of Detective than this.
Though I do have to ask, I remember hearing a while back when you guys were like planning this, like, the fact that there's two, does that mean there's a both die and none die?
Well, yeah, there's both a non-option between them all.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll have to see, because, like, I don't know, these other two shows could also get a trifecta, triple kill.
At one point, I played around with the idea of a wild card where we'd bring in a previous host and be like, "Hey, these two shows, you haven't seen any of them. Which one do you think deserves to live?" But at the same time, I don't think either host would be readily available.
I mean, Dal's streaming Guilty Gear, so we could invade his stream.
Let's not bring in new fucking concepts in the show we're making. Let's keep going.
That's what I was just mentioning, that we danced with that concept in, I think it was either spring or winter, but yeah, either way. Let's move on to Dungeon of Black Company, Episode 2. Ninomiya is forced to take on Wanabe's workload after he's injured. A hive of ants attacks, so he turns himself into an ant and lobbies against the queen. He brings in Rim, along with Wanabe, and the hive queen into his black company to take over the company that overworks him.
So, I mean, essentially this is a fantasy version of creating a union.
This dude literally came in and brought Marxism to ants. I'm so down with this show.
That's
I don't know how you feel.
Sentence. That's a fucking sentence. God, I love anime.
I don't know how the rest of you feel, but the fact that he brought Marxism to ants and caused a hive mind workers' rebellion has sold me on this show.
Well, you gotta talk about fucking hive mind working for your queen with benefits. You need some off days. You need maternity leave. You need insurance. That's not something they need to provide. Just talking like fucking modern work ethics with ants.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about this episode besides Marxism with ants. That's great.
Yeah, I just love the show and the active struggles this guy needs to go through because there's so many things working against him with everything he has to do. Because we've established this is a very hostile world that only the ones on top, like, it's an extreme fashion of the poor gets poorer, the rich gets richer, and the poor get dead.
I would rather watch so much more Kuma Bear than this. I fucking hate this show.
I see.
Oh no.
I see.
Despised every moment of this. I was hoping I would get dumb fun like I do out of Girlfriend with this, but it does not bring the right energy for me. I sat there loathing my existence the entire episode. You want to talk about fucking bringing the mouse to see how much you have left? I did that 20 times with this episode. That's what I have to say about this episode.
What did you not like about this?
I don't find it funny.
It's just a guy getting by his guile and charisma alone because he's not a fucking superpowered motherfucker in this fantasy world. He's just a guy that is a shrewd fucking businessman and has the know-how to get people on his fucking side.
I like this the same reason why I like Code Geass. I like watching some dude with a plan bullshit his way to victory. And this is what it's gonna be. I'm down with it. Meep, you may not be, but I'm here for this show.
I have my fucking evil sides, and I love watching this mischievous motherfucker succeed. It's great.
Like, the only thing that gives me hope for it is now there's a set-in-stone goal, at least. Maybe it'll get better for me, but at the same time, I really didn't like this episode.
Well, I do enjoy a lot of stuff about this episode. I love the fucking reversal of, like, hey, why would tentacles fucking discriminate? Tentacle the Dragon Man. I'm like, oh, I see.
I know plenty of people who are into that.
Yes, but does anime do that ever? No, this is the first example of this since the history of the entirety of the entire media.
Listen,
it's a
I want to
pioneer.
fight Meep on. I want to fight Meep on this, but I don't know how. So I'm just at the point where I'm like, I just want to talk. I'm just going to talk about what I like about it.
Yeah, it's his personal enjoyment, and I'm not going to try and force him to enjoy something he doesn't because he clearly doesn't. But
Here's the thing. Dumb fun, for me, is made great when you bring a certain energy to it. If Girlfriend didn't have the energy it did, I don't think it would work for me. But because it comes with such a fantastic energy that complements the sheer absurdity and fucking stupidity of it, it's great. This show doesn't have that for me.
it does. It doesn't have that for you, mate, but it has that energy. It's called Ninomiya, and everything you fucking does.
But I don't
dude
like
swindled.
him.
The dude managed to swindle his way into getting now 2 groups of monsters to follow him.
I didn't like seeing it happen, though. It's okay, he's convincing ants to go against the queen, but it just wasn't funny to me.
It might just be a difference of personality because I'm a fucking sadist and I enjoy watching shit like this.
Like, half the episode was watching this guy get shit on by a company, which I feel that. Getting dicked over by a company, I feel that. I don't like seeing it happen. Then the other half was just...
So, when you see him get dicked over and this is his plot and goal of building up and getting revenge and essentially toppling the entire fucking thing, how's that not good?
That's why I said it's the only thing that gives me hope, and I liked about it, but that doesn't excuse the 21 minutes I hated watching.
Well, to actually build up a want to topple them over, you need to set up the struggle.
But I didn't find the struggle interesting. On paper, bringing Marxism to ants, that's funny. That can be funny. It wasn't funny, though, here. At least not for me.
I'm sorry you feel that way, because I consider it fucking fantastic the entire way through. And I do need to bring this up because none of us have mentioned this yet. The opening fucking slaps.
Opening's pretty good. I actually don't remember it, so actually, never mind. I'm not going to speak on that.
Opening was okay.
I love the opening. It's fantastic. It has its very unique feeling that no anime opening I've really heard has. And,
I liked the ending a lot more.
I don't quite remember the ending.
I just have to say, my best girl of the series has to go to the Dragon Lady. She knows what she is. She just likes to sit and she likes to eat. And now she eat garbage.
I just brought a bag of garbage to me. It's a delicacy. I eat.
I was so tempted to just like take a screenshot of that and just like put girlfriend over, and it's just like us eat.
No, what I would fucking do if we could do that thing where we have like showing the shows from the previous episodes dying. When we'd open up episode 3, it would show fucking Rim eating whatever the show dies this episode is.
No, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that if my editing software wasn't a bitch.
No, I just love the ant colony. So the queen's just being like, what the fuck? What the hell is happening? Yeah, no. Yeah, it changes the power dynamic in an ecosystem, and the the next rung down in the food chain is gonna capitalize on that massively. Just the fucking my hero thing. I'm like, this is I know the kind of guy this is. He's gonna use this to his full fucking potential.
Well, are we ready for cards?
I believe so as well. I had covered a few interesting points I need to talk about, and just generally how good anything the show is.
I'll go first. I'm not faulting anyone for liking this show. I just don't like it. Like I'm not saying saying you're bad for liking this. I'm just saying here going, I don't. I despise this show, but hey, you do you. If you want to be the trash that Rim eats, I won't judge.
Well, the thing is, this show compared to Girlfriend is a garbage show that is fucking great. This is a show that is not garbage and is just fucking great. It's like the crystals in these fucking wine. It's covered with a lot of dirt, but it's good shit. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, and I am killing it, obviously.
Hello. Future Editing Limus here. Just to say, hey, the Sonny Boy part of this episode got horribly corrupted in some way. I don't know how it happened, and I really hope that it didn't happen on any of our other episodes. But, yeah, it's completely unlistenable. It's awful. And it pretty much starts around like halfway through the description of the episode of Sonny Boy, and it ends about the point when I'm getting the wheel together for the end of the episode. So yeah, all that's cut out. Basically, what happened during the Sonny Boy conversation was Meep came out the gate super just not interested in this show. He thought it was too abstract. It didn't explain what it wanted. Like, it didn't explain what was going on enough for him. He felt that it was all just way too vague. And I personally really liked it. I thought it had some interesting things going for it. McCon didn't really talk a lot during this. He said a similar thing to me. It was kind of interesting, I believe. But ultimately, when it comes down to the votes, Meat voted to kill, McCon voted to fuck, and I voted to kill out of some sort of mercy. I don't know what I was thinking of in the time, but yeah, I kind of did vote to kill it. because I didn't kind of want it to get shit on, I guess. But yeah, that's it. It was a double knife, and I think it went on the wheel? Or maybe it didn't. I don't know. No, it didn't go on the wheel. But whatever. Point is, that's lost to history and time right now. So yeah. And that should be what happened. So here, go back to me in the past with the wheel and the end of our second episode of the summer season. Alright. Everyone ready for the spin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
The detective is finally dead.
Fuck. I would be much more happier if it was the Duke.
I was already gonna continue Duke anyway, so I'm happy with this.
This season is not starting off great with me. First killing the only one I actually was interested in watching more of, and then killing the better out of the two options. Fuck.
Well, this episode has certainly taken a turn near the end here.
I need to watch more Duke.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not sure how much of us. Oh. Yeah. I'm satisfied with this result. I'm not sure by how much, though. Like, I don't know. I hated Duke, and I hated the other show. Detective, thank you. And I wanted them both dead equally, so I was going to win no matter what, unless they both survived.
I, for one, did not want them dead equally. One of them is far worse to me.
I honestly didn't get that feeling from when we did our Duke of Death episodes.
Sure, I was still kind of making my mind up, but during this week of watching it,
Bit of a strange ending here. It's gonna put a lot of bad tastes in our mouths, apparently. But yeah, if that is it, I guess we should wrap up.
Yeah.
Next week we will have Ida 10 deities too. Who knows? Maybe I'll hate this one too.
My luck is finally here. It's been 28 years.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I have a good feeling about Ida 10.
So do I. That's why I locked it.
It looks generic to me. I'm not sure if I'm going to hate it or not.
I'll be honest, it's kind of the music that made me pick it.
I don't know. But the detective is finally dead, and we don't have to worry about her anymore. And wherever her heart is, embodying other people. But anyways, Meep, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at soul_king777. If you're a minor, do not follow me. There are nutty images on there.
And I am unable to be found, but you can try at that_Viking. You'll only be greeted with possums, the occasional meme, and some other trash animals or gators or whatever the fuck I decide to post. That will be nothing about me.
And if you want to find me, you can find me all over the internet, but you can find them all categorized in a nice little forum at limis.card.co, where you can find me on places like Twitter, where I'm retweeting about brutalist slides.
Brutalist slides. That certainly sounds interesting.
Hard concrete slides. Anyway.
Like shorn surfaces of like buildings that you would want to slide down.
No, I mean built to be a slide. And made out of pallets and shit.
Alright.
But yeah. With that, I believe that's us. That's the Anime FMK.
Yes, indeed. And I hoped you enjoyed this episode of us discussing this week's anime of this season that we have picked. And next time we'll be back with 8 episodes, I think, then, considering we're all caught up to the ones that started early.
Yeah, we're finally caught up. No more double episodes, thank fuck.
Yeah, we're caught up, and everything that started late is already has released their first episode at that point. So yeah, we're on 8 episodes next time.
Yeah. But yes. You can find us again at the same time, same place. Next week on Monday at 11 Mountain Standard Time. If not, you can go to Dalaron's channel, YouTube channel, where you can head up and watch all the VODs and stuff.
Yeah. And with that, we bid our farewell.
Goodbye.